Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Konoha, Medical Ninja, One Punch Fly Six Paths Madara. Chapter 1. The Land of Fire, Konoha Village. It has been 4 years since the Nine Tails Rebellion broke out, and this village, which was once devastated by Nine Tails, has gradually recovered its former prosperity. At sunset, a small figure slowly walked down the residential street, with sweat on his forehead, but a faint smile on his face. Black hair and black pupils, fair skin, delicate and symmetrical facial features. Anyone who sees it will sigh in admiration, what a good little boy. The villagers who saw him also greeted him warmly. Qian Yu, you're back. Qian Yu, did you go to exercise again? You are really sensible at such a young age. Yes, that stinky boy in my family knows how to play every day, so I'll beat him up when I go back. Come to Qian Yu, this fish is for you, take it home and make up for it. Quote. Along the way, such greetings came one after another. And the kid named Qian Yu was also very polite and responded one by one. In just a few hundred meters, he actually walked for 10 minutes before arriving in front of a detached courtyard. Skillfully opening the door, Qian Yu walked in, and the smile on his face disappeared. Rubbing his slightly stiff cheeks, he sighed helplessly. Too popular is also a very tiring thing. Qian Yu, full name Kamio Qian Yu. Born in the 48th year of Konoha, his parents died in the Nine Tails Rebellion, leaving him alone in this world. Is a traveler. In his previous life, he was just one of the many beings, and the standard protagonist template also made him have no nostalgia for that world. The only regret is that I couldn't delete the browsing history on my phone before I died. What Mikami, Fakata, and Momoki. Some people were dead, but he felt he could die again. Hopefully that gas explosion blew up my phone too. Muttering to himself, Qian Yu also recalled the demon fox he saw in the swaddling clothes after crossing. The Nine Tails cover the sky and the sun, and with a random wave, countless houses will be destroyed. If Yongtame hadn't appeared in time and moved away the tailed beast bomb, I'm afraid he would have become the shortest traveler in history. Since then, Qian Yu has understood which world he has come to. The temptation of returning to the village, the legend of Wumura fighting eyes, the story of Otsutsuki Agarwood saving mother, winning as a shadow, losing and marrying Sakura. The power system in the manga can only be regarded as a medium, but there is not a lot of danger in a world. Kamio Qian Yu from the previous life knew very well about this one of the 3 major migrant manga and liked it. Aside from the distorted views of most people in this world, at least the various beauty lenses and ninjutsu are still very distinctive. But when he really crossed into this world, it was definitely a lie that Qian Yu didn't panic. After all, his surname is neither Uchiha nor Senju, nor does he have a power bank in his body. In Hokage, the traces of bloodline theory are so strong that Kishimoto almost slapped you in the face. Don't work hard, you are not as good as others. Of course, Konoha Acorn Might Guy's final kick surprised the world, but it also came at the cost of his life. If it wasn't for Naruto's blood locking, maybe before the Ninja World War was over, Guy would be kicked out of the dirt and kicked again. Therefore, after waiting for 2 years without waiting for cheat, Kamio Qian Yu also completely accepted his fate. For the rest of your life, don't think about stepping on Six Paths Madara and holding Kagaya. Work hard to improve your strength, as long as you live to infinite Tsukuyomi, you will be successful. Kamio Qian Yu was very satisfied when looking at his slender, but unusually strong arms and legs. When he has a goal, he will naturally not eat and wait to die, and exercising has become the first priority. In the ninja world, the importance of chakra is unquestionable, and it is a prerequisite for becoming a ninja. But the body is the root of everything. Kamio Qian Yu is well aware of this, so even though he has the chakra refining method left by his parents, he is not in a hurry to practice. Extracting chakra now, of course, can get the title of a genius, 1 or 2 steps ahead of others. But, not to mention whether he will be targeted by Brother Sun, the pot of this world. The damage to the body is irreversible by simply practicing chakra prematurely. Like the 2 most famous geniuses, Kakashi and Itachi. Kakashi graduated from ninja school at the age of 5, became a Chunin at 6, and became a Jonin at 12. Even without Sharingan, his chakra volume is not outstanding. As for the weasel, it's even worse. being seriously ill in my early 20s, coupled with the burden of using Sharingan frequently. Even if he didn't die at Sasuke's hands, he wouldn't live long. Kamio Qianyu's goal is very clear, to live in peace until the fourth battle. So he won't try anything risky. The rest, leave it to Sas and Naruto. Maybe it's because the world is different, and people's physiques can't be generalized. When she was just over 2 years old, Qianyu started exercising her body in a planned way. From running laps in my own yard to exercising around the inner city of Konoha. His body is extremely healthy, and his development is much faster than that of ordinary children. When he was 4 years old, he was already 1.2 meters tall, half a head taller than his peers. And today, he finally decided to start refining chakra. After eating the fish just given by Asai's mother-in-law, Qianyu also came to the bedroom and took out a scroll from the cupboard. This is the legacy left by his parents in this lifetime. In addition to the method of refining chakra, he was left with 5 ninjutsu techniques. 4 sea-level ninjutsu, wind-style great breakthrough, wind-style gale palm, fire-style fire bullet, fire-style dragon fire technique. There is also a B-level fire dragon flame bomb. It is estimated that his parents should be ninjas who specialize in these 2 attributes. However, Qianyu also doesn't know what his chakra attributes are. If he doesn't have these 2 attributes, he will be blinded. Sitting cross-legged in the bedroom, Qianyu relaxed his mind according to the records on the scroll. Chakra is a combination of spiritual energy and physical energy. Mixing the mental power with the energy extracted from the cells according to a fixed ratio, Qianyu suddenly felt warm in his body. It seems that my talent is good, I can refine chakra so quickly. With his eyes closed, Qianyu was a little overjoyed, feeling this magical feeling with his heart. At this moment, a mechanical voice sounded in his ears. Ding! Detected that the energy system of this world appeared in host's body, and began to search. The world coordinates have been confirmed, the system is starting. 1%, 2%, 3%, 99%, 100%. Hello, dear host, the doctor's benevolence system has been installed and will serve you wholeheartedly. Kamio Qianyu. He has accepted the fact that he has been mediocre all his life, and as a result, the system has appeared. And it's still a very simple system, with no intelligence at all. Just a few simple answers. After researching it several times, he also roughly figured out the function of the system. The doctor's benevolence system sounds like it is related to curing diseases and saving people. In fact it is. As long as Kamio Qianyu uses the healing technique given by the system to heal others, he can randomly extract the attributes, ninjutsu, and even the limit of blood from the opponent. If you draw repeated ninjutsu, it will be converted into a certain amount of experience points to improve your ninjutsu proficiency. Moreover, he also has a chance to get benevolent points, which can be used to buy goods in the store. As for this probability and quantity, it is related to the patient's identity, status, and strength. Open it and take a look. As long as it is an ability or item that exists in this world, you can basically buy it. Complete 10 tails. 8 W points. 9 Go Jade Reincarnation Sharingan. 50,000 points 1. Tensegan. 30,000 points. Rinnegan. 20,000 points. Up to the 6 paths level, down to the 3 body technique, all the power in the ninja world can be obtained through points. At the end, there is another one. After the strength reaches the 6 paths level, more advanced products can be opened. Watching Kamio Qianyu drooled a little. However, the bright points balance also reminded him that now he is just a pauper. Is this to make me develop in the direction of my dad? The ninja world is never short of battles, and every year a large number of ninjas retire due to injuries. It can be said that after having the system, Kamio Qianyu only needs to stay in the hospital for a few years, slowly extracting attributes, and always become a cage-level powerhouse. In this way, even in the period of the Fourth World War, as long as he does not rush to the front, he still has the ability to save his life. If you're lucky, it won't be a problem to become a 6 paths tier. In that case, he can dance too. Let's test the capabilities of the system first. Thinking in his heart, Qianyu picked up the kunai that was lying on the side. PFF'd. The bright red blood was left on his arm, and he grimaced in pain. Healing. A cloud of green light enveloped the palm of his hand. In less than a second, the bleeding stopped and the wound quickly disappeared. If it weren't for the bloodline on his arm, he wouldn't even be able to tell that he'd just been injured. Hiss. This therapy is a bit scary. Qian Yu was a little surprised. He doesn't know what the principle is. The system's healing technique is also activated through chakra. Like the more advanced healing jutsu, and consumes very little chakra. So little that he didn't feel any consumption. But, system, I can treat a person well. What about attribute extraction and point rewards? System, fortunately, he is not intelligent. If he is intelligent, I am afraid that he will start to curse his mother now. I've seen one who slashes wool, but I've never seen such a stab at myself for slashing wool. He may not be human, but this host is really good. Ding. Host treats one person and gains physical fitness plus 0.3. Thank you host for discovering the bug. You will not get points and attributes if you heal yourself in the future. Reward a host novice pack. Now it was Cameo Qian Yu's turn to be silent. Did he lose? Not only was the bug fixed, but he also used a novice gift bag to stop him. What a profiteer. After cursing angrily for a while, seeing that the system didn't respond, Qian Yu could only give up. Open the attribute panel and open the novice gift package for me by the way. A high-tech panel appeared in front of him. Character: Cameo Qian Yu. Age: 4 years old. Constitution: 5.3. Spirit: 10.4. Chakra: 1.5. Note: Standard Genin 3 attributes are 10. Skill: Chakra Refinement Level 1 1/100th. Chakra Attributes: Wind, Thunder. Item: Senju Bloodline Awakening Potion. Rating: Not worth rating. It's really appalling. Cameo Qian Yu sighed. This attribute is not even a battle scumbag. In addition to the mental power, it may be due to the reason of crossing, barely reaching the level of Genin. Physique and chakra are not worth mentioning at all. What is a standard Genin? According to the current graduation standards of the school, there will be a 3-body technique, and if the body technique reaches the standard, you can become a Genin. For example, little Sakura, who just graduated, can't do anything other than perfect theory. Nope, she still calls Naruto. Fortunately, the system gave a novice gift package. With a thought, a bottle of blue liquid appeared in his hand, and Qian Yu drank it without hesitation. The bloodline of Senju, descended from Ashura, son of Sage of 6 Paths. It is also the bloodline of Senju Hashirama, the god of ninjas. Of course, it doesn't mean that with the Senju bloodline, Cameo Qian Yu can be as powerful as the first generation. The normal Senju bloodline only makes the body's vitality more vigorous, and the amount of chakra is much higher than that of ordinary ninjas. As for Hashirama, he is a pure sage body, nothing like it. But even so, it was enough for the current Cameo Qian Yu. Feeling a completely different body from the previous second, Cameo Qian Yu also looked at his attribute panel. Character: Cameo Qian Yu. Age: 4 years old. Constitution: 9.5. Spirit: 11.4. Chakra: 11.5. Note: Standard Genin 3 attributes are 10. Outrageous. Just awakened Senju bloodline, his physical fitness and chakra volume have improved a lot. It's almost time to catch up with little Sakura who just graduated. As expected of Senju who has been entangled with the Uchiha clan for so long, it's really scary. Cameo Qian Yu sighed silently in his heart and came to the courtyard. Although I got the system, I can't slack off, and daily exercise is essential. Not to increase strength, but to consolidate capabilities derived from the system. Some people say that the system determines the lower limit, and its own efforts determine the upper limit. Fart. In the ninja world, there is no plug-in, so what's the use of working hard? And with a plug-in, your efforts are just to let you fully exert your own strength. It doesn't change the upper limit at all. So, just listen to chicken soup, don't take it seriously. 998. 999. 1000. Woo, it's finally done. Putting down the special training equipment in his hand, Qian Yu sat directly on the ground and sighed heavily. It was cold winter, but sweat was still dripping down his forehead. It is conceivable how much he trains. At this point, more than half a month has passed since Qian Yu obtained the system. For more than half a month, Kamio Qianyu did not rush to cure the disease and save people, but still insisted on exercising as before. Just a lot bigger. There is a systematic healing technique, although there are no points and attributes that can be obtained to heal oneself. But you don't have to worry about getting hurt by using too much force when exercising. As soon as the treatment went on, all the dark wounds disappeared. In such a perfect environment, Kamio Qianyu has been exercising frantically for half a month, and his attributes have also undergone great changes. Character: Kamio Qianyu. Age: 4 years old. Constitution: 14.5. Senju bloodline is awakening. Spirit: 12.5. Chakra: 15.5. Note: Standard Genin 3 attributes are 10. Skills: Chakra refinement level 1, 16/100. Chakra attributes: Wind, Thunder. Points: 0. Comment: Genin, with the advantage of blood, you can beat Haruno Sakura, who just graduated. Kamio Qianyu nodded with satisfaction, wishing to find little Sakura PK immediately. Speaking of such an increase in speed, I don't know how many people will be scared. The most important thing is that there are no hidden dangers at all. Moreover, he is only 4 years old now, and his physical skills have not reached a period of rapid progress. However, that's the end of it. In the past 2 weeks, due to the increase in the amount of training, his appetite has also increased a lot. If it weren't for the monthly subsistence allowance, he would have run out of food. Speaking of which, Third Hokage was really good to him. Not only did he not deduct his money, he also gave him a lot more. You know, ordinary orphans are sent to orphanages, but he lives in his original home. Only Naruto has this kind of treatment in the original book. It is estimated that his parents have some connection with him. While thinking about it, Kamio Qianyu changed into his regular clothes and prepared to go out to buy some living necessities. By the way, solve the lunch problem. After leaving the house, Kamio Qianyu walked towards a commercial street, and it didn't take long to reach today's destination. Ichiraku Ramen. As the most famous shop in Hokage, Kamio Qianyu will not miss it. In reality, Ichiraku Ramen is also famous for its excellent taste and low price. Many tourists who come to Konoha travel will come here. Looking at the long queue outside the door, Kamio Qianyu smiled fake and walked in directly. Hit uncle. Giving full play to the child's advantages, he shamelessly sold cuteness. The hand who was burying his head in kneading the dough heard Kamio Qianyu's voice, raised his head, and said in surprise. It's Qianyu, I haven't been here for a while. Is it the same this time? Qianyu nodded, then shook his head again. It's still the same, but I want a double copy. Recently, I've been exercising a lot. Han smirked and said, okay, the extra portion is for me to invite you, Calamus. 2 large portions of pork bone char siu ramen. Then thank you Uncle Shuda. Kamio Qianyu did not refuse Shuda's kindness. The two sides are already very familiar with each other, and a face-to-face is nothing. If you don't see a hand call, you will give him a special VIP channel. Don't you need to queue up? For the legendary Otsutsuki Ichiraku, Kamio Qianyu naturally dare not underestimate, and every time he comes, his small mouth is very sweet. Maybe, this is a hidden behind-the-scenes boss. The same existence as the legendary Konoha Gate God. The speed of the Calamus was very fast, and after just a few minutes, 2 large bowls of ramen were placed in front of Kamio Qianyu. I'm gonna start now. With a vigorous shout, Kamio Qianyu also began to destroy the food in front of him. In fact, he didn't want to shout, but he couldn't help it. People were in another world and couldn't help themselves. Calamus propped her chin with one hand, and smiled when she saw the little boy in front of her eating so deliciously. Little Qianyu, eat more slowly, I'll make you another one if it's not enough. After he finished speaking, he carefully handed over a cup of hot tea. For this cute little boy, Calamus is also very fond of. Kamio Qianyu, who was immersed in the food, mumbled a few times and slowed down. No wonder he was so devoured, he was a little hungry after exercising all morning. Coupled with the excellent craftsmanship, the ordinary ramen and barbecue pork are delicious. He couldn't control himself at all. After eating, Qianyu also prepared to leave. The Calamus originally wanted to stay with him for a while. But there are too many customers in the store today, and there is no time at all. Just let him come here often. However, when he was about to leave, the calamus said something. There is another loyal customer of your age in our store. I will introduce you to you next time. Kamio Qianyu was stunned for a moment, and then he thought of something. Uzumaki Naruto. It should be true, when it comes to love for Ichiraku ramen, 3 of him can't keep up with one Naruto. After all, this is more than a place to eat for Naruto. Still one of the few places where there is no prejudice against him. Qianyu did not refuse the words of Calamus. Although there must be ninjas with roots around Naruto, but he is not panic at all. The reason is very simple, his background is innocent, and he is a child. It's just that there is some intersection with Naruto, and it won't be affected at all. Didn't you see that the Inoshika Cho trio and Inuzuka Ya have a good friendship with Naruto? The ignorance of civilians does not mean that these ninjas are also fools. Vortex, Demon Fox, coincidental birth date. Even if third generation didn't say it explicitly, they understood a lot. What kind of fox is this? This is the prince. When he came out of the Ichiraku ramen, Kamio Qianyu realized that it was snowing outside. Snowflakes fluttered across the sky and fell on the roofs and trees of houses, bringing a layer of pure silver to Konoha village. Looking from a distance, several Hokage Yan also changed his hair color. Qianyu thought for a while and walked towards the commercial area. This is the first snow of this winter, and the temperature is sure to be lower. We also need to prepare some charcoal at home for winter. In fact, the technology in the Hokage world is still very developed, and many buildings have heating. However, the independent courtyard where he lives is very traditional, and he can only make a fire honestly himself. When passing through a forest, Qianyu heard the faint sobbing of the little girl, as well as the complacent cries of a few bear children. Your eyes are disgusting. Actually, are you a monster? You white-eyed monster. Ha 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 ha. Hearing his fists hard. Couldn't help but look over there. The girl has lilac short hair, pure white eyes, grievance and fear written on her face like a porcelain doll, and tears flowed out involuntarily. In front of her, the 3 bear children sneered at each other, and when they were proud, they gave out sharp laughter. Hinata, long time no see. Looking at the crying little girl with pear blossoms and rain, Qianyu whispered. He was thinking about something, but his feet didn't stop. Hey, the bear child felt that someone was calling him, and turned his head subconsciously. Boom, a huge fist hit him directly in the face, and then he let out a tragic cry. Ah, it hurts. Looking at the companions who were squatting on the ground with their noses covered, the other 2 bear children also reacted. You actually attacked, you don't talk about martial arts. Yelling and punching Qianyu. These children are all 5 or 6 years old, and they feel that the number is an advantage. It's a pity that Qianyu's current physique is comparable to that of a normal genin, and it's really easy to deal with a few children. As soon as he was short, he escaped the attack of the 2, and then bullied himself up. 1 left hook, 1 right hook. Boom, boom. This time, the 3 bear children all squatted on the ground, clutching their bleeding noses, and burst into tears. Comfortable. Hinata, who had been crying while covering her face, stared blankly at this scene, until Qianyu walked in front of her and did not respond. Why, don't you know me? Qianyu looked at the cute Hinata with tears in the corners of his eyes, and also Ichiraku in his heart. Don't say, good-looking people are good-looking when they cry, such as Yanzu. And ugly crying will only make people feel worse. Hearing his words, lowly Hinata finally came to her senses and thanked her with a blushing face. Thank you, Qianyu. Obviously, she still remembers Qianyu. It's good to know me. Speaking of which, we haven't seen each other for almost a year. The last time I met you was also in the snowy season. Qianyu sighed a little. This was not the first time he and Hinata met. A year ago, while running around the village as usual, he accidentally ran into Hinata who had sneaked out of the house. Seeing the lowly sitting in the snow crying, Qianyu also kindly helped and sent her back to the Hyuga clan's mansion. I'm sorry, Mr. Qianyu. Hinata's voice was weak and flies, and he poked with 2 index fingers. My father has not allowed me to go out at will since the last time. Qianyu was stunned. He'd probably guessed something. It must have something to do with the matter that Cloud Shinobi came to negotiate. In order to protect Hinata, Hyuga Hiyashi simply refused to let her out. Woo, I'm bleeding, I'm going to find my mother. The three bear children were still squatting on the ground and crying. Qianyu was a little upset when they heard it. However, you can also use them as an experiment. Wait for me now, said to Hinata. Qianyu walked up to the three arrogant children. Then their cries grew louder. Stop crying, I'll beat you up when I'm crying. Hearing his threat, the three of them immediately held back their tears and looked at him without daring to move. Those who didn't know thought that Qianyu was the bully. A cloud of green fluorescence lit up in his hand, and Qianyu paused on everyone's face. I'll spare you this time. If I see you bullying others again, I'll break your legs. Feeling that there was no more pain on his face, the bear child flashed a trace of joy in his eyes, and said respectfully, "We knew it was wrong." Then he apologized to Hinata, and the kind-hearted Hinata naturally forgave them. And a message also appeared in Qianyu's mind. Healing Bear Child 3, gained Constitution plus 0.3. The physique of 0.3 is not as much improved as his one-day exercise. However, how long and how much chakra did he take to treat these people? The efficiency ratio is already heaven-defying. Waving them away, Qianyu looked at Hinata who was hiding behind him. Feeling his gaze, Hinata's face immediately flushed, and it continued to expand. Qianyu, don't be like this. Qianyu. What did he do? No, what can he do at his age? Hinata's shy physique is too exaggerated, just staring is such a big reaction. If I ask her to help me have a few children in the future. Shaking his head, Qianyu immediately stopped thinking too far. Let's go, the snow is getting heavier and heavier, and I'll take you home. Not knowing that she was almost a mother, Hinata nodded obediently and followed Qianyu obediently. Along the way, the two did not communicate much. Mainly because Qianyu felt that if he said something that shouldn't be said, the eldest lady fainted in shyness. He might be hunted down by the Hyuga family. Hinata followed closely, even stepping on Qianyu's footprints in the snow. This is the second time she has been sent home by Qianyu like this. Thinking of this, Hinata's little face turned red again. Looking at the swinging sleeves in front, she wanted to grab it, but the timidity in her heart prevented her from doing anything. Finally, the two came to the gate of Hyuga's house. Don't make the family anxious, go back quickly, Hinata. Qianyu waved his hand and turned to leave. But Hinata had the courage to ask him, Mr. Qianyu, can I come and play with you in the future? Qianyu nodded, of course, but sometimes I have to go out to exercise and you may not find me. He gave Hinata his address and explained the situation. And after seeing him agree, Hinata's little face finally showed a smile. What neither of them knew. This scene was also seen by an old man who likes to peep. Inside Hokage's office, smoke lingers. Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen continued to puff and puff, but his eyes were fixed on the crystal ball on the table, motionless. On the crystal ball, it is the pictures of Qianyu and Hinata respectively. It is his signature ninjutsu, telescope technique. It is also one of the ninjutsu that Go-author wants to learn most. As Hokage, he often uses this ninjutsu in his spare time to observe the dynamics of the entire Konoha. Especially the physical health of women in the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen would have liked to watch it for 12 hours a day if it weren't for the fact that it would be easy to be delusional after watching too much. Today's third generation, as usual, was going to enjoy the hot spring bath at the east end of the village, but unexpectedly, he saw an interesting scene. Cameo. Qianyu. There was a look of reminiscence on Third Hokage's face. Cameo and Feng, also known as Cameo Qianyu's father. Once his escort, the strength also reached elite Jonin. Of course, there is no elite Jonin in the village, it's just a private name for those Jonin who are exceedingly powerful. Genin, Chunin, Special Jonin, Jonin, Shadow. And Qianyu's father is Jonin in Jonin. On the night of the Nine Tails Rebellion, Cameo and K's blocked Nine Tails' critical blow for Sarutobi Hiruzen, buying him enough time to summon the ape demon. Therefore, Cameo and Feng can be said to be a half-benefactor of third generation. Qianyu's mother, Cameo Miko, an excellent medical ninja, also died in that battle. This is also the reason why third generation treats Qian Yu more favorably. Not only was she arranged to protect the wet nurse when she was young. Even after he was able to live independently, the pension was not discounted at all. The cigarette in his hand burned out, and the faint burning sensation also pulled third generation out of his memory. Once this person is old, it is easy to think too much. However, I recalled how Qian Yu first taught the arrogant child a lesson and then treated him later. A smile appeared on third generation's face. In his opinion, this child has inherited the will of fire. Protecting your companions without bullying others too much, you can also use medical ninjutsu. The future must be the mainstay of Konoha. However, learning medical ninjutsu at such a young age is Miko's legacy. There are some doubts in my heart, third generation needs more information. With a swing of his right hand, Anbu with a cat face mask appeared in the office. Go get all the information about Kamio Qian Yu. Yes, Lord Hokage. The voice fell, and the person had disappeared. On the other hand, after sending Hinata home, Qian Yu purchased some supplies and returned home. This trip cost a lot of money, which made him feel a little distressed without a source of income. While cooking dinner, Qian Yu was also thinking about the road ahead. Healing 3 bear children will give him the attributes that can only be obtained after training for half a day. If he had access to those wounded ninjas, Chiba was sure that his speed of progress would be beyond imagination. However, how should he take this first step? Should he go directly to third generation? It's okay, but it's such a simple thing for a child to want to see Hokage. Who do you think is Naruto and can break into the Hokage building at will? Moreover, expressing yourself too eagerly will only lead to suspicion. Dong dong dong. There was a rhythmic knock at the door, and Qian Yu was a little puzzled. Who will come to him at this time? Coming. With a shout at the door, Qian Yu put down the meal she just prepared and walked to the door in 3 or 2 steps. Grandpa third generation. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen wearing a Hokage hat, Qian Yu was very surprised. Although he had met third generation twice, he only came when he was given money. A surprise visit like this one has never happened before. There was also a smile on third generation's wrinkled face. Qian Yu, won't you invite me in and sit down? Ah, please. Although he didn't know his purpose, would Qian Yu dare to refuse? In the living room, Qian Yu and third generation sat opposite each other, neither of them spoke first. Holding a cup of hot tea in hand, third generation glanced at the environment where Qian Yu lived. Through the most real appearance of a person's room, it can more or less reflect some of the characteristics of the owner. Although it was only a 4-year-old child, the room was spotlessly cleaned, there was no extra garbage, and it was very tidy. In Anbu's report to him, Qian Yu not only trained himself very hard since he was a child, but also treated his neighbors very kindly. A picture that loves the village very much. Third generation is increasingly satisfied. From now on, Qian Yu's deliberately created image has already worked. And he was also thinking, what is the purpose of third generation coming here today? Qian Yu, I think you have already extracted chakra, right? Qian Yu's heart froze, not knowing when he was exposed. Although he was a little nervous in his heart, he quickly put on a bright smile. That's right, Grandpa third generation. I tried the chakra refining technique that my parents left me a month ago, and I already have chakra. Not only that, his expression was very excited, as if sharing a big secret. I also have a special ability to heal others. Seeing that Qian Yu didn't hesitate to say this, third generation's eyes were even more appreciative. He believed that his child must be the heir to the will of fire. Have a Hokage pose. He pretended to be interested and asked, what kind of ability can you show me? Qian Yu didn't talk nonsense either. His right hand directly lit up the light of the healing technique. Grandpa third generation, do you have any injuries? I can help you heal. Third generation smiled and stretched out his hand while shaking his head inwardly. In the past few years, he hadn't made any shots. How could he have any injuries? There are also dark wounds left over many years ago. But this is also a piece of the child's kindness, and he will not refuse. But soon, third generation's complexion changed and changed. The moment the healing technique touched him, a warm current entered his body along Qian Yu's hand. This warm current constantly repaired the dark ailments that he had left behind, and the originally hunched waist subconsciously straightened a little bit. This level of medical ninjutsu. At this time, the third generation had already set off a storm in the heart. He found that he had greatly underestimated the healing power of Kamio Qian Yu. Sorry, Grandpa third generation, I've run out of chakra in my body, do you feel better? Qian Yu said weakly, while looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen expectantly. It's all made up. In the past 2 weeks, Qian Yu has also mastered a lot of skills in the healing techniques given by the system, and can easily control the power. He just missed a little bit and repaired some of the dark wounds in third generation's body. It is used to express the difference between one's own healing technique and that of ordinary ninjas. At this stage, moving closer to the third generation is a necessary choice, and only in this way can the king's prying eyes be blocked. Appropriate display of talent and one's own thoughts can also better attract third generation's appreciation and attention. And the reality also developed as Qian Yu expected. After feeling the changes in your body, third generation hurriedly asked a few questions about healing. In the end, he came to a conclusion that this was not an ordinary medical ninjutsu, but a kind of blood-based limit. Because even the most advanced healing jutsu couldn't make him feel so relaxed. At this moment, the third generation looked at Qian Yu with softer eyes, almost not treating him as his own grandson. Qian Yu, do you have any dreams? How many talents can such a ninja with a special bloodline limit save for Konoha? You know, ninjas die during the mission period. There are also quite a few people who have accumulated countless dark wounds on their bodies and have to withdraw from the ranks of ninjas. When Qian Yu grows up gradually, becoming the second Tsunade is just around the corner. At that time, Konoha's combat power can also be further enhanced. However, before that, he still had to confirm whether Qian Yu had a heart for Konoha. Man, old dreamer. Qian Yu complained about third generation in his heart, but he was not slow. My dream is to be a great ninja so that I can protect my friends. Good. Third generation was simply overjoyed. Qian Yu was talking about protecting his friends, but in Konoha, isn't his friend Konoha's companion? I'm optimistic about your dreams, Qian Yu, if you need anything, you can come to me. Third generation directly drew the big cake and gave Qian Yu 100,000 taels and a bunch of kunai shuriken with a wave of his hand. There's even a stack of detonators. 100,000 taels is not a small amount. Generally, only 80,000 to 200,000 taels can be obtained for a B-level task. Usually a team is also required to tie the score. As for the detonating talisman, it is a strategic material. Don't be misled by Conan's 600 billion detonators. In the real world, a detonator starts at 300 taels. It's worth 5 bowls of ramen. It can be said that this wave of third generation has also counted its blood. Seeing the kindness he showed, Qian Yu also made his own request. Grandpa third generation, I have one thing I need your help with right now. I hope to go to Konoha Hospital to help those injured ninjas, okay? This is the real purpose of Qian Yu's exposure of his medical abilities today. Only by entering Konoha Hospital as soon as possible and treating others can he become stronger quickly. Hearing his request, third generation hesitated. Qian Yu, isn't your current age a little too young? Qian Yu shook his head frantically. Grandpa third generation, every time I see those injured ninjas when I pass by the hospital, I feel very sad. They paid so much to protect Konoha, but I couldn't do anything. Now that I have learned ninjutsu, what I can do is a contribution. At the end, there seemed to be light in his eyes. A movie star performance. Good boy. With great relief, third generation agreed to his request without thinking. However, he still made some restrictions, requiring Qian Yu to stay at the ninja hospital for a maximum of half a day. And don't waste your practice. What he wants is Kamio Qian Yu, who will grow up completely in the future, not the little kid he is now. Third generation still has this vision. Qian Yu also had no objection to this. Although he desperately wanted to improve his strength, Qian Yu would not overly expose the terrifying aspects of his healing technique. Slightly beyond the peers, will only be regarded as a genius. And the genius who completely subverts the 3 levels of people is a monster. Now he has not fully grown up and must be developed carefully. Third generation sat for a while longer, got closer to Qian Yu and left. In fact, in Qian Yu's heart, he didn't have any bad feelings towards third generation. As for the third generation conspiracy theory circulated in his previous life, he also looked at it from a neutral perspective. This man has a mixed reputation. Yes, judging from the current contact, the old man's love for Konoha is beyond doubt. Some people say why instead of the third generation casting ghoul, Namikaze Minato, a prime age Hokage, was sacrificed. The reason is also given in the original book. In order to prevent Obito from sneaking in, Namikaze Minato placed a barrier outside him and Kushina, and no one could enter. Moreover, the third generation at that time did not have any intention of flinching, and directly stabbed Nine Tails into the air. As for the disappearance of the Senju family, the death of White Fang, the death of Nawaki. First of all, the Senju clan abandoned their surnames and completely integrated with the village instead of exterminating their clan. Even Tsunade is no longer walking in the ninja world in the name of Senju. As for the four of White Fang and Nawaki, he must know something, but it would be far-fetched to say that he did it. You can say that third generation has done stupid things and been indecisive, but he also sincerely wishes Konoha to be well. It is completely different from a certain pot king who uses the banner of everything for Konoha every day. It can only be said that the ability is insufficient and the level is limited, and he tried his best. For Qian Yu, it was even simpler. Since his rebirth, the third generation has not treated him badly. That's enough. Besides, he also brought him a great gift today. Cure the dark wounds in the third generation, get chakra plus 15, earth attribute chakra, points plus 10. Sure enough, as the strength of the ninja increases, the rewards Qian Yu gets each time will also increase accordingly. It seems that if there is something wrong, I have to go to the third generation old man and help him heal. Under the deep night sky, came his low voice. Outside Konoha, in an unremarkable forest. No one knows that the root that makes most ninjas in the ninja world change their color is located deep in the ground here. In fact, even Konoha's ninjas are secretive about the existence of roots. This group of people did not recognize their 6 relatives and did not even obey third Hokage's orders. If Senju Tobarama survived to know that his Anbu system was done like this, would he be pissed off again? At this point, Danzo watched the report sent by the root ninja with his only one eye. What about Kamio Qian Yu? As the root that prides itself on guarding Konoha in the dark, Danzo's style is also unscrupulous. As soon as there is a little trouble in third generation, he can get the news right away. And the matter of going to Qian Yu today naturally couldn't escape Danzo's eyes. No, Qian Yu's information is on his desktop. However, this news also failed to pique Danzo's interest. Humph, didn't it just refine chakra and learn medical ninjutsu? Maybe he is a genius among ordinary ninjas, but in the face of real powerhouses, he is vulnerable. There is no bloodline limit, the upper limit is visible to the naked eye. The words were filled with disdain for third generation and Kamio Qian Yu. In his opinion, only Uchiha's power and Senju's power are what he should aspire to. A civilian genius like Kamio Qian Yu is not worthy of his attention at all. In the empty room, Danzo once again issued his own declaration. Hiruzen, you are old, Konoha's future can only be controlled by this old man. And Qian Yu, who got permission from third generation, went to the ninja hospital the next day. At first the head of the hospital thought it was a child who came to make trouble, but after Qian Yu showed his healing skills and a letter from Hokage's office, he was the one who completely believed that this kid really came to be his whole life. Healing a ninja, gaining physique plus 1.3, chakra refining experience plus 1. Healing a ninja, get chakra plus 2.5. Healing a ninja, get wind attribute chakra experience plus 1. Throughout the morning, Qian Yu treated a total of 9 ninjas. In order not to draw too much attention, he showed the chakra exhausted look. But even so, it was shocking enough. The director of Konoha Hospital was alarmed by him. Little guy, what's your name? Kamio Qian Yu. Hearing his surname, the dean was also stunned. Is your mother's name Kamio Miko? Right. Hearing Qian Yu's affirmative answer, the dean's attitude immediately became a lot more cordial, and his tone was also somewhat emotional. Miko was considered half of my students at the beginning, and her medical ninjutsu is quite outstanding. I didn't expect her children to be even better. He is very optimistic about Qian Yu's future and is very pleased at the same time. Qian Yu didn't expect that his mother still had such a relationship. You are her teacher. The dean waved his hands again and again. I can't talk about the teacher, it's just that I took her for a while after she entered the hospital. After all, Miko has only one teacher, and that is the famous Tsunade Haim. Tsunade. Qian Yu was startled, feeling that his background was so hard. Rounding up, could he be called Grandma Tsunade? Forget it, if Tsunade hears it. Not to be beaten to death by the strange force, but also to be suffocated to death by the big bear. ... It seems that getting points is not as simple as I thought. On the way home, Qian Yu summed up the harvest this morning. There were 9 patients in total, and he only got 3 points, given to him by a Chunin and a special Jonin. The remaining 7 Genins only contributed attribute points and some skill experience. Not even ninjutsu. According to his speculation, the stronger the ninja is, the higher the probability of him getting points. Moreover, the loopholes in the system are not so easy to drill. He originally wanted to treat a ninja's injury in stages to see if he could get 2 rewards. As a result, the system will only give a reward when the patient's injury has recovered to a certain level. Also, there is a 2-day cooling-off period for each patient treated. Only after 2 days of treatment can the attributes be re-extracted. This also completely failed Qian Yu's follow-up plan. Originally, he planned to catch a ninja and hide it at home to play in a secret room when he became stronger. Wounded, healed, wounded again and again. Alas, the opportunity to scour the wool is elusive. Back home, Qian Yu didn't slack off either. Character: Cameo Qian Yu. Age: 4 years old. Constitution: 18.5. Senju bloodline is awakening. Spirit: 12.9. Chakra: 35.5. Note: Standard Genin 3 attributes are 10. Skills: Chakra Refinement Level 1 25 100ths, Throwing Level 1 25 100ths. Chakra Attributes: Wind, Thunder, Earth. Credits: 13. Evaluation: The mediocre in Genin, a cannon fodder. Looking at his attribute panel, Cameo Qian Yu found that his skills were still a bit lacking. This throwing technique is also a skill brought to him by a Genin. When Qian Yu in his previous life was watching anime, he felt that the kunai shuriken couldn't kill people at all. The little rich woman had a whole scroll of weapons every day, and Tamari slapped them all with a fan. But the reality is simply not the case. The average ninja has very limited chakra in the body, and it is often exhausted by releasing a few ninjutsu. Therefore, ninjutsu is used only at the most critical juncture to form a mortal blow. Fighting with taijutsu and weapons is the fighting style of normal low-level ninjas. False Genin. Susa Nine Tails passionately confronted. Real Genin. Kunai shuriken flying around. At present, there are not many chakras in Qian Yu, and even if he has learned ninjutsu, he will not be able to release a few. Might as well learn more about throwing now. In the courtyard, 2 wooden golems stood in the corner. Standing 10 meters away, 4 shuriken appeared in Qian Yu's hands. Hold your breath, concentrate, and focus all your attention on the bullseye on the dummy's chest. A withered leaf fell, snapped. Qian Yu turned sideways and threw out the shuriken with a dashing posture. Handsome. Then, 4 shuriken, all stuck on the wall. Qian Yu was silent for 3 seconds, then turned and left. Go for a hard workout at TM. After clearly realizing that he had no talent in throwing, Qian Yu completely lay flat. Go to Konoha Hospital to brush attributes in the morning, exercise in the afternoon, and refine chakra in the evening. The days were boring, but fulfilling. Hinata would come over from time to time. When Qian Yu was training, she would sit beside her and watch silently. The two gradually became familiar with each other. It's just that this shyness can't be changed in a day or two. For Hinata, it would be hypocritical to say that Qian Yu has no ideas. But what he has in mind is the gentle and strong white-eyed princess in the next 10 years, not the current little loli. It's really not punishable. He could feel it. Hinata looked at him very differently. I don't know why this ninja child is so precocious. For now, Qian Yu is, at best, a love for cute girls. Therefore, most of his energy is still on improving his own strength. Because of the existence of the system panel, Qian Yu can clearly see his progress. Just like playing a game, any increase in any attribute will make him happy for a long time. Many people don't want to work hard, but they can't see the results of their efforts every day. Over time, people will become dazed and eventually give up. Walking on the bustling commercial street, Qian Yu was thinking about where to go to solve today's food problem. He had good luck in the morning, not only got 10 points, but also learned the Great Fireball technique from a ninja. Although the Great Fireball is dubbed the non-killing fireball, it is actually very powerful and has a very high ceiling. And the fire attribute face injury ability is also one of the best. The only problem Qian Yu faces now is, he doesn't have a fire attribute chakra yet. But this is only a small problem, the days ahead are still long, and he believes that he will definitely be able to obtain chakra with all attributes. Go away, you demon fox. I won't sell you anything. At this time, there was an angry shout from the front. The crowd dispersed as quickly as they encountered something dirty, and the originally lively streets became deserted. Only a 3 or 4-year-old boy was left standing there, still holding money to buy things. Uzumaki Naruto. Qian Yu squinted his eyes and looked at the little boy who was the same age as him, but much thinner. This incident is definitely a black spot in third generation's life, and it can't be washed away. As the son of a hero, Naruto can't guarantee even the most normal life, not to mention enjoying the treatment he deserves. Some people say that third generation is to let the villagers have an outlet for their hatred, so Danzo will acquiesce in promoting Naruto's identity as a demon fox. But in Qian Yu's view, this is pure nonsense. In Konoha, everyone knows that the Nine-Tails demon fox was the one who made the mess in the first place, so you can just say Namikaze Minato and the demon fox perished together. This will not only enrich the image of Hokage, but also dispel the grievances of the villagers. After all, even the shadow has been sacrificed, what else do you have to complain about? Have to push Naruto out of the pot. There are too many dark thoughts in it, and Qian Yu can't guess all of them, and he doesn't bother to think about it. Because now he can't change anything. However, there are some things he can do that he can still do. Step forward. Hey, I forgot my wallet when I went out today, can you lend me some money to eat? Feeling everyone's disgust, fear, and hatred in his eyes, Naruto was secretly hurt. Suddenly, a voice was heard behind him. Turning his head, he saw the speaker. So cute. This was his first impression of Qian Yu. Black hair and black pupils, exquisite facial features and a confident look on his face. He was even cuter and more handsome than the child he had seen before, with a Fan Clan emblem behind him. This made him feel a little ashamed. Are you talking to me? Naruto looked around, saw that there were only the two of them left, and pointed to himself. Of course, Qian Yu looked directly at those azure blue pupils, and said in a very calm tone, I forgot to bring money when I went out, and now I want to eat Ichiraku ramen. I just saw that you had money in your hand, so I came to ask you, if you don't want it, forget it. Naruto also saw Qian Yu's eyes and was calm. There is no embarrassment when borrowing money, nor that kind of disgust and hatred. When, of course, Naruto raised the money in his hand, about a few hundred taels. Do you also like to eat Ichiraku ramen? I'm a regular there, do you want to go with me? At the end, his tone became cautious, he looked at Qian Yu expectantly, and hurriedly added a sentence. Even if I invited you, you don't have to pay it back. What the hell is this all about? Qian Yu sighed inwardly, and his heart was a little blocked. When he watched anime in his previous life, although he sympathized with Naruto, he would not feel the way he does now. Seeing that he didn't speak for a long time, the look in Naruto's eyes gradually disappeared. At this moment, Qian Yu nodded lightly, then I'll trouble you, I will invite you back in the future. Naruto finally breathed a sigh of relief, grabbed Qian Yu's arm impatiently, and walked towards the Ichiraku ramen. While walking and chatting, my name is Uzumaki Naruto, how about you? Qian Yu, Cameo Qian Yu. Qian Yu, nice name. Along the way, the pedestrians who saw the two all avoided, but Naruto didn't care at this time. He has found a peer who doesn't look at him in a strange way. At this time, all of my heart was on Qian Yu's body. And Qian Yu ignored the thoughts of those passers-by, just a bunch of ignorant people. Talking to Naruto suddenly today is still a little impulsive. He was sure that there must be Anbu or Gen Ninja watching around Naruto at this time. Even both. In a few minutes, news of his contact with Jinchuriki will reach third generation and Danzo. However, Qian Yu was not afraid. His mother was a student of Tsunade in medicine and his father appeared to be from the third generation. The heir of the will of fire with roots in the red. This trivial matter, third generation would definitely not mind. That being the case, he might as well just be friends with Naruto. At least, it can give his dark childhood a little more brilliance. Administration building, inside the Hokage office. Still the familiar smoke lingered, third generation listened to Anbu's report without saying a word. As Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto's movements are naturally the top priority in the village. Around him, the three-person Anbu team was kept under surveillance throughout the day, not only to prevent foreign enemies, but also to be alert to the runaway of Nine-Tails. Once a situation arises, it will be reported to third generation immediately. Like now, as observed by my subordinates, it was purely coincidental that Cameo Qian Yu and Jinchuriki met, but the act of suddenly approaching to talk is somewhat suspicious. After speaking, cat-faced Anbu lowered his head, waiting for Hokage's decision. He is a tool person, only responsible for telling the whole story. Not mixed with a trace of personal feelings. And third generation was not in a hurry, took out the crystal ball and pinched two seals. Immediately above, the situation in the Ichiraku noodle shop appeared. Qian Yu and Naruto were holding a bowl of ramen each, devouring them like a game, while the hands beside them were laughing happily. Third generation's eyes were a little complicated. It was he who was sorry for Minato and for Naruto. Qian Yu's appearance is also timely, and it can fill some vacancies very well. He will also often go to Naruto, by the way, talk about the will of fire and give Naruto a brainwash. But he is Hokage, an elder, and what Naruto lacks is the company and recognition of his peers. Qian Yu is very good, from a decent background, with a good character and outstanding talent. The future becomes Hokage, and Naruto is also a good helper. Yes, at this time Sarutobi Hiruzen was already thinking about Qian Yu becoming Hokage in the future. Since entering Konoha Hospital, Qian Yu has gradually revealed his talents little by little. The chakra within the body is increasing at a rate visible to the naked eye. Thinking of his mother Kamio Miko's surname, third generation had already vaguely guessed what to write. Boom! The door to Hokage's office was pushed open, and Danzo walked in with a blank expression. Danzo, you didn't knock again. Third generation waved and told Anbu to retreat, and then reprimanded Danzo unhappily. It's just that, with Danzo's face, he doesn't care about this level of reprimand. Hiruzen, Kamio Qian Yu suddenly came into contact with Jinchuriki, and I felt suspicious. I suspect that he is a spy from the outer village and may want to attack Jinchuriki. You hand him over to our roots, and I will investigate carefully. Third generation scoffed, the excuse was good, and the words were very high-sounding. But, is Danzo taking him for a fool? Didn't you discover Kamio Qian Yu's talent and wanted him to join the root? It should be said that they have been friends for decades. Third generation completely guessed what Danzo was thinking. At this time, Danzo had some regrets. Why didn't he pay attention to Qian Yu at that time? The only person who can make Sarutobi Hiruzen come close to himself, except for one Jinchuriki, isn't Qian Yu the only one left? It is no secret that Qian Yu treats patients in the hospital every day, and Danzo quickly got the information. It's not the ordinary medical ninjutsu he imagined at all, but a special kind of medical blood follower limit. Not only is the effect far better than the general healing jutsu, but also has the function of treating dark wounds. If the root obtains Kamio Qian Yu, not only will he be able to study his bloodline limit, but also an additional medical ninja no less than Tsunade. Simply earned. So, when he found out what happened today, Danzo couldn't wait to find him. As for the spies from the outer village to attack Jinchuriki, he doesn't believe it himself. Third generation's old face was stern, and a faint expression of anger appeared. Danzo, Qian Yu is the child of Hefeng, the heir of the will of fire, I will not give him to you. Finally, he was hard-hearted, and without hesitation, he turned back. Danzo's conspiracy was revealed, and he was not discouraged at all, and persuaded hard. Hiruzen, Kamio Qian-Yu's medical ninjutsu has great research value. You can also contribute to Konoha by handing him over to me. Impossible. Third generation interrupted him. Danzo, I am Hokage. In a word, Danzo's DNA moved. Hiruzen, you will regret it. After finishing speaking, Danzo left the office without saying a word. He knew that Kamio Qian-Yu would not come. In just 2 sentences, it proves the pure-blooded nature of this book. It doesn't matter if you can't get Qian-Yu temporarily, he can let the root ninja pretend to be an ordinary ninja to go to Konoha Hospital for treatment. Although I can't study Qian-Yu's bloodline for now, it's best not to provoke third generation. Inside the office. Why? Third generation let out a long sigh, expressing his helplessness towards his old friend. This Danzo, the hand is too long. If he hadn't known that the other party really did it for Konoha, he would never let such a terrifying power as his master. However, now it seems that he really should make some restrictions. With that in mind, several policies for the root quickly appeared in third generation's mind. On the other side, Ichiraku Ramen Restaurant. Qian-Yu and Naruto, each with 3 bowls of ramen in front of them. Naruto rubbed his swollen belly with difficulty, and looked at Qian-Yu, who was also struggling, and refused to admit defeat. I'm in a bad state today, I'll definitely beat you next time. Qian-Yu waved his hands indifferently. What's the point of winning over him? If you have the ability, you can compare with my little Hinata. The last time I came to eat ramen with Hinata, Qian-Yu's determination to make money instantly skyrocketed countless times. If you don't make money, your daughter-in-law can't afford it. I'm a little embarrassed to eat 3 bowls of you this time. I'll invite you to barbecue another day. Hearing Qian-Yu's invitation, Naruto agreed without hesitation. Don't say it was Qian-Yu's invitation, even if he asked him to invite him. Before parting, Naruto looked at Qian-Yu, who was about to go in the other direction. That, Mr. Qian-Yu, you say, are we friends? Seeing Naruto ask this, Qian-Yu tilted his head and shook his head. No, but when I invite you to dinner next time, it should be fine. Friends, you have to come and go. Naruto, who was a little disappointed to see him deny it, jumped up with excitement. I have friends. Extremely happy and sad, Naruto fell to the ground and failed to stand firm, and fell directly on the horse. Qian-Yu smiled unsympathetically. Looking at Naruto's palm cut by a stone, he subconsciously performed a healing technique. Heal Uzumaki Naruto, get 5+1, chakra +5, points +20, pure Ashura chakra. Seeing a reminder floating in front of him, Qian-Yu was startled. Big bang. Chakra and physique aside, these 2 are basic rewards. 20 points, which is the amount he can only get when he works in the hospital for a day or 2. And the last reward made him jump up. Pure Ashura chakra. As the sons of the Sage of 6 Paths, Ashura and Indra have fought for millennia. The 2 fought for a lifetime and couldn't fight enough, so they chose chakra's reincarnation and continued to do it. Therefore, whenever the chakra reincarnation of the 2 appears, there will be a bloody storm in the ninja world. Either the east wind prevails over the west wind, or the west wind prevails over the east wind. The reincarnation of Indra and Ashura of the previous generation is the pinnacle of this millennium. With wood style and magic, Senju Hashirama defeated Uchiha Madara with 9 tails. In the past, Ashura's reincarnation used the power of the tailed beast to compete with Indra's reincarnation. It can be said that Qian-Yu, who has obtained Ashura chakra, can step into the super shadow steadily in the future. I looked at the price of Ashura chakra in the store, well, 15,000. Hemp, he made hemp. Wow, Qian-Yu, you can actually use ninjutsu. Naruto shouted excitedly to pull Qian-Yu back from the wandering state. Because 9 tails is in his body, Naruto's self-healing speed is also fast. But it will never be like now. 2 seconds later, the wound is gone. My only friend, so strong. A gentle smile appeared on Qian-Yu's face. I was also the master a while ago, Naruto. If you are injured in the future, you can come to Konoha Hospital to find me. I will treat the injured there every morning. Too strong. The 2 of Naruto glowed, looking at Qian-Yu in admiration. I've decided, In the future, I will become Hokage. Qian Yu, you are the director of Konoha Hospital. Qian Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay, then I'll wait for the day you become Hokage. It's getting late, it's time for me to go home and practice. Next time I invite you to eat barbecue and talk. With that, he waved goodbye to Naruto. Naruto waited until he couldn't see Qian Yu's back before turning his eyes away. Qian Yu, I will definitely not let you down. ... After leaving Naruto, Qian Yu ran home as fast as possible. Originally it was just the most ordinary day, but it was changed because of my whim. System, help me extract pure Ashura chakra. Although there is no intelligence, the arrangement of the system is still very considerate. Rewards of this level can choose when to withdraw by themselves, preventing exposure. Most importantly, what he got was pure Ashura chakra, just pure energy. In the past life, there was a lot of discussion about Naruto's mouth escape and his almost virgin not holding grudges. What is more reliable is that he was influenced by Ashura chakra, which is the case with his Xingsheng. If that's the case, Qian Yu really doesn't dare to merge. Fortunately, the system is to force. As soon as the voice fell, Qian Yu felt that his chakra seemed to be stimulated and began to increase frantically. At the same time, the cells in the body have also begun the deepest transformation. A very relaxed feeling came to his mind, and he only felt that his whole body was full of vitality. The slight fatigue brought by the full sprint to go home also disappeared. Open the Properties panel. Character: Cameo Qian Yu. Age: 4 years old. Constitution: 35.3. Sage Body is Awakening. Spirit: 20.3. Chakra: 1.1 cards. Skills: Chakra Refinement Level 2 and 56 200ths Throwing 66 400ths Level 4 Great Fireball Technique Level 2 and 55 200ths 3 Body Technique 128 300ths Level 3. Chakra Attributes: Wind, Thunder, Earth, Yang. Points: 103. Comments: Strong body, amazing chakra, congratulations, the future is promising, but for now, you are still no match for an experienced Chunin. Seeing his physique and chakra jumped a lot, Qian Yu smiled again. Today's harvest is really great. Even chakra's units have become true general-purpose units. As we all know, the Hokage world has 2 standard units of measurement. They are Kakashi, which refers to the amount of chakra, and Asuma, which refers to large sums of money. It's not the most powerful effect of Ashura chakra. Qian Yu knew in his heart that Ashura couldn't compare to Indra if only the amount of chakra surged. After all, no matter how much chakra is, if you don't know how to apply it, you can only be a fool. The biggest role of Ashura chakra is to shape a complete sage body. The sage body has a powerful self-healing ability, and it will also provide great convenience when learning the magic. Just look at Hashirama. Tsunade's Baihao technique is just his own passive, and he can enter sage mode in seconds with a slap of both hands. I don't know when I will get the Indra chakra on Sasuke. Human desires are inexhaustible. Just after breaking free from the joy of obtaining the sage body, Qian Yu was thinking about the second pillar. But he had nothing to do for the time being. The current Uchiha has a delicate relationship with the village, and rarely appears outside as Sasuke. Not to mention just let him meet and treat it again. After thinking about it, Qian Yu realized that he had to wait until he entered the ninja school before he could get in touch with Sasuke. As for now, let's keep growing. He silently encouraged himself, then took out the scroll of Wind-style Great Breakthrough and looked at it. Just looking at his attribute panel, he found that his ninjutsu skills were poor. Qian Yu doesn't want his future self to be like Naruto's left-handed ball and right-handed tailed beast bomb. He wants his style to be like Uchiha Madara, gorgeous and powerful. No matter how bad it is, he has to get the name of a ninjutsu master. Although third generation shamelessly boasted that it was the strongest Hokage. But his 5 escape Dalian bomb is really handsome. Chapter 11. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, half a year has passed. Konoha Hospital. Qian Yu, as usual, comes here every morning to brush attributes. Bah, it's healing. The only difference is that in the beginning, Qian Yu only received about 10 patients a day. Now, that number has at least quadrupled. After discovering that Qian Yu's healing technique has the means to heal dark wounds. Many seemingly healthy ninjas have found their saviors even more tattered. And Qian Yu is also a very chicken thief, and will not completely cure them all at once. Instead, they stopped when they reached the standard for rewards given by the system and asked them to come back in a few days. The obvious excuse is that segmented treatment will have better results. In fact, it's just to pick up the wool a few more times. Proper profiteering behavior. Cure 1 patient, get chakra plus 2.5, wind attribute nature transformation plus 2 points plus 2. The system prompt sounded in his mind, but Qian Yu did not change his face, and said to the patient in front of him, "Mr. Inuzuka, that's all for today's treatment. After 3 more times, your right foot will recover." Hearing this, the ninja of the Inuzuka clan showed joy. "Thank you, little genius doctor, I will come back in 2 days." After that, he walked out of the office with a cane. Little genius doctor or something, what a shame. Because of the power of the healing technique, in the past 6 months, all the wounded that Qian Yu has taken over have not been cured. Gradually, his fame spread to a small extent. I don't know who called him that first, then the nurses in the hospital and the medical ninja all called him that. Well now, even the patient knows. Taking off his white coat, Qian Yu's task today is also completed. When he walked out of the hospital door, he saw a pretty white-eyed loli standing there with a bento box. "Hinata, sorry for keeping you waiting." Walking in front of Hinata, a gentle smile appeared on Qian Yu's face as he gently rubbed his purple hair. I just arrived too, Mr. Qian Yu." Feeling the temperature above her head, Hinata's face quickly turned a blush, and the hands holding the food box trembled slightly. "Qian Yu touched my head, so comfortable. Now she is much better than before, at least she won't be shy when she speaks." However, even so, physical contact or something is stepping on a tipping point. Qian Yu put down his hand in time and took the food box from the girl's hand. Too much. Although he wanted to make Hinata more confident and cheerful, it would only be counterproductive if he tried to take the drug as soon as he came up. That's it for now, let Hinata adapt step by step. It's touching the head now, in a few years you can hug, and at the end. No. His purpose is only to help Hinata change himself, how can he think so? After criticizing himself righteously in his heart, Qian Yu began to enjoy the food brought by Hinata. Pick up a piece of fried shrimp tempura and bite it open. In an instant, the sweetness of the shrimp and the crispy texture of the skin came out at the same time, causing Qian Yu to narrow his eyes happily. "Hinata, your craft has improved again." That's right, this bento is all from Hinata's hands. Knowing that Qian Yu would come to the hospital for work every morning, Hinata would bring him a lunch when he could go out. Once Qian Yu joked that he wanted to eat a bento made by Hinata himself. As a result, the little girl took it seriously. Since then he has been practicing cooking. Up to now, Hinata's craftsmanship has been very good, coupled with the sturdy spirit of the Hyuga family, all top quality ingredients are used. The food made is not inferior to the chefs of some restaurants. However, the price of this lunch is not cheap, enough for Naruto to eat ramen for half a month. Hinata on the side was also very happy, and getting praise from Qian Yu was her greatest hope. Is Qian Yu going to go back to training after eating? Hinata has a good understanding of Qian Yu's living habits. She is in the hospital in the morning and training in the afternoon. Today, she was approved by her father to allow her to play outside for a long time. Of course she wanted to spend this half day with Qian Yu. Although it was said that Qian Yu trained her to be by her side, it was a pity. However, Qian Yu shook his head. "I won't be exercising today, give yourself a half day off." The plan he had made at the beginning had not kept up with his progress. He is too young, no matter how he cultivates, there are only so many attributes he can provide. After all, even in the ninja world, human body growth must follow the law. He has a sage body, which has a fast rate of progress and a high ceiling, but the efficiency of simple training will gradually decrease. Instead of wasting time grinding foreigners, think of other ways. Moreover, Qian Yu naturally saw the expectation in Hinata's eyes. Thinking that for the past 6 months, Hinata has been silently by his side, his heart softened. "Hinata, let's take a stroll around Konoha in the afternoon." Konoha, the reason why it is called Konoha. A large part of the reason is that the green plants cover a tenth of the area here. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is a city built in a forest. Qian Yu was strolling in a forest on the edge of Konoha, holding a handful of kunai in his hand. The eyes are still rolling from time to time, searching for traces of the beast. Just yesterday, he had a whim. Healing humans will give you attribute points, but what about healing animals? He first bought a few fish from the market and came home to sit in the experiment, and found that the system did not respond. But that doesn't mean Qian Yu failed. It's also possible that the fish are too weak to provide the value of the attributes. In order to verify the conjecture in his heart, after work today, Qian Yu came to the Konoha forest to look for some experimental items. There are not many beasts around Konoha, and ninjas are often tasked with expelling beasts. As for why not completely remove it? On the one hand, it is to maintain the ecological balance of the forest. On the other hand, during the peace years, the number of combat missions that Konoha receives will also drop sharply. Keeping these beasts can help some genin and even chunin to gain combat experience, which can be considered to kill two birds with one stone. Roar! A roar broke the silence of the forest. Looking at the giant bear in front of him, surprise appeared in Qian Yu's eyes. Good luck, hit the target so quickly. When the giant bear saw the villain in front of him, not only did he flee with an expression of fear, but instead looked at himself with great interest. It suddenly became more violent, and the huge bear paw shot straight down. If he was hit, the scene must be quite tragic. But Qian Yu didn't have the slightest fear, just when the bear's paw was only a few centimeters away from him. Swish! The body flicker technique kicks in and disappears in place. The giant bear was a little dazed, not understanding how the villain in front of him disappeared all of a sudden. Stupid man, don't look, it's behind you. Qian Yu's lazy voice came, and he kicked the giant bear with a kick. The sudden attack was unbearable even for the giant bear. The entire bear rose into the air, smashed into a tree, and dropped countless flying leaves. I don't know how Konoha's trees grow. They are all 10 or 20 meters tall and very thick. If it was placed in a previous life, at least a few giant bears would have to fall down. Seeing that the bear was still struggling to stand up, Qian Yu also had no ink marks. It is 2 punches to rush up, knocking it out directly. The next step is treatment. Qian Yu lifted kunai and scratched at random, 2 more wounds appeared on the bear's body. The green light lit up, and soon, the wound disappeared again. Heal a beast and gain plus 1.3 constitution. Done. Qian Yu was delighted, and his guess was right. Healing non-humans can also gain attribute points for him. And it's the physique he desperately needs. Ninjas are a group of high-blooded existences, who can release ninjutsu that destroys the sky and destroys the earth, and can also die under the kunai, detonating charm. Now Qian Yu's attribute points are extremely unbalanced, and chakra has reached 5 cards, but his physique is stronger than the average chunin. But in the future, with these little cuties in the forest, he no longer has to worry. Glancing at the comatose giant bear, Qian Yu left immediately and searched for other beasts. In one afternoon, he found 3 bears and 2 wild boars, which was quite rewarding. Just as he was about to go home after treating the last wild boar, he suddenly raised his head. Whoosh! There was no sign, the kunai in his hand was thrown out directly, and the target was a large tree nearby. A figure appeared, which directly smashed Kuwu into the air. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spy on your practice, I was just worried about what danger you might encounter for such a young child. After shooting down kunai, the man did not attack, but instead expressed his sincere apology to Qian Yu. And Qian Yu also saw his face clearly. The current top Uchiha master, the strongest illusion ninja. Uchiha future. No, it's Uchiha Shisui. Senior, you're welcome, this is just ordinary training. Seeing that Qian Yu didn't mean to pursue it, Shisui relaxed a little. It is very rude to casually spy on the training of other ninjas. Swish! Qian Yu's pupils shrank, and he was shocked when he saw Shisui who appeared in front of him. What a quick body flicker technique. Just like teleportation, he didn't notice Shisui's movement at all. Hello, my name is Uchiha Shisui. Shisui smiled and stretched out a hand, not despising Qian Yu at all because he was a child. Hello, my name is Kamio Qian Yu. Qian Yu stretched out his hand and shook Shisui's hand, not trying to distance or get close. Although I think this person has a problem with his brain, he will actually tell others about the effect of distinguished heavenly gods, and even try to use it to prevent the coup. But at least Qian Yu doesn't have to worry about the person in front of him having bad thoughts about him. I know you. Shisui showed a hearty smile. Konoha's little genius doctor, there is hope to surpass Tsunade-sama's existence in the future. He also saw the scene of Qian Yu treating the beast just now. At this age, who can use medical ninjutsu except Kamio Qian Yu? It's too much. Tsunade-sama is my idol, how can I surpass her? Qian Yu was very modest, but he was telling the truth. With such a broad mind, how could he compare? Maybe the future Hinata will have a chance. His modesty also made Shisui's favor a bit higher. Seeing the bandage wrapped around his waist, Qian Yu's mind moved slightly. Shisui-senpai, you look hurt, don't you think? If you don't mind, I can treat you. After speaking, he showed a cute smile and looked at Shisui expectantly. Shisui came back from outside the village, and he had just completed a classified mission. As for the wounds on his body, they were left by the enemy's desperate counterattack before he died. Shisui was not surprised that Qian Yu could find out that he was injured. However, he did not expect Qian Yu to be so helpful. Shisui's reputation for the Uchiha clan still has a lot to do with it. Long-term master of the Konoha Guard, holding the power of law enforcement, coupled with arrogance and extremes from his bones. This made the Uchiha clan notorious within the village. Even when he was in Anbu, his teammates were distant, with only a few friends. Although the clansmen knew this, they didn't care at all. In the eyes of the arrogant Uchiha clan, the strong do not need to care about the opinions of others. However, Qian Yu offered to help him with treatment. This was beyond Shisui's expectations. Kamio Qian Yu, what do you think about Uchiha? Qian Yu was speechless, he just wanted to treat Shisui and see if he could get something good. Why did you talk about your opinion of Uchiha again? However, the patient still needs to meet the following requirements. I'm just a kid and have no contact with other Uchihas. You're the first Uchiha I've met. So far, it feels pretty good. Qian Yu also told the truth that he had never met the other Uchihas. Even in the hospital, Qian Yu never met. Shisui was slightly disappointed after hearing this. Also, Qian Yu is a child after all, what can you expect to hear from his mouth? Stop the ink, the time I spent talking to you, your wounds can be healed. Qian Yu urged. Shisui smiled and untied the bandage. It's just a minor injury, it will be fine in a few days. Qian Yu doesn't care, if I let you heal, how can I brush attributes? Seeing that Shisui insisted on doing this, he didn't stop him. Soon, his injury quickly recovered under medical treatment. Cure Uchiha Shisui, get Uchiha blood talent, yin attribute chakra. A hint of surprise flashed in Qian Yu's eyes. This time it can be regarded as a shot into the soul. The two major plugins in the ninja world, Sage Body and Immortal Eye, are all available. And Shisui was amazed when she felt the wound disappear. This medical ninjutsu is almost catching up with Tsunade-sama. Maybe even stronger. After parting with Shisui, Qian Yu didn't stop, and went home directly. Today's payoff is huge, and not just because of his pink eye potential. It is because of the discovery of a way to continuously increase physical fitness. Qian Yu knew that as long as he persevered, he would continue to harm the beasts in the Forbidden Forest. His physique can go far beyond the scope of a ninja, eliminating his own weakness. However, that required attribute is not a small number. Arriving at the door of the house, Qian Yu saw two unexpected people appear. Lord Third Generation, Naruto. Seeing this old and young standing at the door of his house, he was a little confused. Naruto's excited shouting also solved his doubts. Qian Yu, you are so mean, you didn't even tell me your birthday. If it wasn't for Grandpa Hokage, I wouldn't even know that your birthday is today. Birthday. Qian Yu was stunned. When he crossed over, it was the day of the Nine Tails Rebellion. Later, his parents died, and no one told him what day his birthday was. Is it today? June 6th, auspicious day. Third Generation also smiled kindly. For Qian Yu, he is very satisfied with his natural medical ninjutsu and an amazing amount of chakra. The most important thing is that there is a doctor's benevolent heart. For the past 6 months, I have gone to Konoha Hospital every morning, rain or shine. This character alone is enough for the third generation to train Qian Yu as a future successor. If it weren't for his age, he would have wanted to accept apprentices himself. However, he would not miss the opportunity to get closer to Qian Yu. Currently looking for Tsunade all over the world. I believe that Tsunade will not reject Qian Yu after knowing the identity of Qian Yu. In this way, accompanied by third generation and Naruto, Qian Yu spent her first birthday in this world. Before leaving, Naruto also took out his birthday present. A free coupon for Ichiraku ramen, which can be used 5 times. Qian Yu accepted it with a smile. And the gift from third generation surprised him even more. Qian Yu, if you just consider your contribution to Konoha Hospital, it's enough to make you a chunin. But you're still too young, and I believe your goal is not a little medical ninja. Third generation said earnestly, so, I will seal all your files, and when you graduate from the ninja school, I will fill it up for you. This scroll is the shadow clone technique, and I'll give it to you for your birthday. As I said earlier, Qian Yu didn't really care. But this shadow clone technique came at the right time. In another year, he will go to the ninja school, and there will be no time to go to the hospital by then. Shadow clone technique solves his urgent need. Seeing him happy, third generation also felt that it was a good gift for him. At the same time, he also discovered Qian Yu's interest in ninjutsu. Naruto on the side gave up, shouting that he would also learn new ninjutsu, and was knocked violently by third generation. You first learn the transformation technique that the old man taught you, then let's talk about it. With Naruto still shouting, the two left. And Qian Yu can't wait to learn shadow clone technique. Surprisingly, after only 2 failures, Qian Yu mastered the shadow clone technique. Let shadow clone go to the hospital to try tomorrow. If I can get points, then I can be completely lazy. After learning this miracle of laziness, Qian Yu also began to reveal his true nature. If he hadn't known the crisis he would face in the future, he wouldn't have worked so hard. Isn't it delicious to be a salted fish? Third Hokage just gave me the shadow clone technique today, don't worry. When Orochimaru kills you, I will collect your body for you. Looking at the peaceful night sky, Qian Yu made an oath in his heart. And in the Uchiha tribe not far away, the two men also chatted about him. Konoha has 2 families, one is the Hyuga family and the other is the Uchiha family. The Hyuga family and Qian Yu also went there when they sent Hinata home. It is located in the inner circle of Konoha, not far from the Hokage building. Referred to as Konoha Ruin. And the Uchiha family is miserable. Because of the Nine Tails Rebellion, many people have seen the pair of Sharingans of the Demon Fox. And Fugaku ordered all the clansmen to stay where they were and not to act rashly. His intentions were good, do nothing, wait for 4th Hokage to come back and give him an explanation. Unexpectedly, 4th Hokage died and Sarutobi took over. The villagers resented Uchiha's inaction, and the higher-ups were suspicious of their relationship with the mysterious man that night. Both are unpleasant. In desperation, the Uchiha family could only relocate to the periphery of the village, far from the political center. Shisui sat on the roof of his house, looking up at the bright moon. Although he is not yet an adult, his heart is heavier than most adults. The Uchiha clan, the village, the Hokage, the Danzo, and the chief. A series of intricate relationships make Shisui in the middle very difficult to do. The village is increasingly dissatisfied with the Uchiha clan, and the rebellion within the clan is also very high. Even himself was assigned a mission to monitor Itachi by 3rd Hokage. Sorry Shisui-san, Sasuke insisted that I accompany him, so he was late. Shisui pondered when he heard the voice of a boy in his ear, and then smiled. Itachi, they said not to be so cautious. The person who came was the legendary Uchiha who started thinking about the meaning of life when he was 6 years old. Shisui's purpose for calling him here was to spy on some information within the clan. However, this time Itachi didn't bring any good news. In these 2 clan meetings, the Uchiha members of the Hawk faction completely dominated, and even the clan leader Fugaku was moved by what they said. Uchiha at this time can be described as a powder keg, even a small spark can completely detonate it. Brother Shisui, if this continues, the village and the ethnic group will have a battle sooner or later. Itachi was also worried, and he clearly felt that the balance in his father's heart had tipped. However, Uchiha is really no match for Konoha. Don't worry, Itachi, I already have a solution in my mind. Shisui stroked Itachi's smooth black hair, admiring his somewhat unnatural expression. At the same time, a decision was made in the mind. He will use his own strength to suppress the rebellion within the clan. However, I still have to discuss with the third generation Sama to see how it works. After talking about the heavy topic, Shisui also told Itachi about the interesting things that happened during his mission. Especially when he said Qianyu at the end, it aroused the interest of Itachi. Is that boy 5 years old this year? It looks like he will enter school next year with Sasuke. Is his healing technique really that strong? Itachi is still a little unconvinced about Shisui's evaluation. A 5-year-old boy, master medical ninjutsu is already very exaggerated, can it be comparable to Tsunade? Shisui naturally understood what Itachi was thinking and understood. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he wouldn't have believed it. Thinking of this, his expression was serious. 1,007, I definitely did not exaggerate. Qianyu's healing ability is the only one I have ever seen in my life. According to Anbu's intelligence, he can even heal deeper dark wounds, so don't underestimate him. Itachi, who has been called a genius since childhood, also has his own troubles. Opening Sharingan too early is a good thing for physical discomfort, not to mention, Itachi's Sharingan has come to Sangoyu. He could clearly feel that Itachi coughed more frequently. Seeing what he said was so serious, Itachi finally believed it. He knew that Shisui cared about himself. I see, brother Shisui, I'll go back to Konoha Hospital tomorrow. So, Uchiha Shisui recommended you to come here. Early the next morning, Qianyu's shadow clone saw today's first patient, Uchiha Itachi. Itachi nodded affirmatively. Brother Shisui said that your medical ninjutsu is very strong and can help me. At the same time, some were amazed at Qianyu's youth. Sure enough, it is possible for any kind of genius to appear in Konoha. Qianyu understood, and didn't say much, and directly performed the healing technique. Pressed on Uchiha Itachi's chest. This time, it took a full 2 minutes before the system sent a prompt. Heal Uchiha Itachi, get spirit plus 1.5, fire attribute nature transformation plus 36, points plus 8. Apparently, his lazy plan with shadow clone succeeded. Qianyu was overjoyed, as if predicting a bright future for him. Lying by himself next to Hinata, enjoying her feedings. And his own shadow clone, one treats the sick in the hospital to save people, and the other goes to the Forbidden Forest to search for beasts. Simply perfect. As for Uchiha Itachi, there is nothing on the surface, but in fact, a storm has been set off in his heart. Your own body, you know best. He clearly felt that the heaviness of the past was much lighter, and the dull aching eyes were also cool. Am I all right? Hearing his words, Qianyu waved his hand. What are you thinking about? You're the first patient I've treated for so long to get better, and the problem is more serious than you think. Seeing Qianyu analyze his condition like a little adult, Itachi's mood is a little subtle. Compared with him, his little brother seems to be too clingy to him. It's a lot younger. Okay, you can come back in a few days if you feel unwell, but if it is completely cured, I don't have the ability now. After speaking, Qianyu issued an order to evict the guests. Itachi feels a little strange. This attitude is different from what Shisui said. I don't know if it was his delusion. Qianyu didn't seem to like him very much. He felt right. Qianyu finds it hard not to hate people who can kill his parents and his own family. Shisui is a virgin, but he sacrificed himself to stop the riot. When it comes to Itachi, it becomes sacrificing the whole family to protect his younger brother. The layout is a bit far off. Therefore, even if Itachi has a high IQ and strength, Obito is very afraid. But Qianyu scoffed at his twisted thoughts. As for what happened on Shadow Clone's side, Qianyu had no idea at this time. However, he received the information from the system, and also had attribute points to be credited. Immediately, Qianyu created another Shadow Clone. What Qianyu learned was Shadow Clone technique, not multiple Shadow Clone. But that doesn't mean he can only have one Shadow Clone. Qian Yu tested it last night, and 2 or 3 clones would not be a burden on his body at all. Your mission is to find beasts in the forest and contribute to Konoha's stability. Seeing what the main body said was so high-sounding, Shadow Clone couldn't help rolling his eyes. This person is helpless, and pretends to be with himself. After watching number 2 leave, Qian Yu also completely entered the state of salted fish. It made him a little confused. He seems to have gotten a little used to that busy life. No, it can't be like this. How can you have such a dangerous idea? Qian Yu shook his head and criticized himself severely. However, after lying on the bed for a whole morning, he finally couldn't take it anymore. Still can't rest. Recently, Hinata has also begun to receive training within the family. The daily schedule is very full, and he rarely comes to him. This is also the normal state of the ninja, and children born in the ninja learn about ninjas from an early age. When they reach a certain age, they will begin to learn family secret arts. Thinking of Hyuga Hiyashi's attitude towards Hinata in the original book, Qian Yu frowned. If he could, he really wanted to rush into Hyuga's house and have a good chat with his future father-in-law. There is nothing wrong with training, but the method also matters. Blindly high pressure will only make Hinata more and more unconfident. However, he is still too weak now. He might have been subdued by those guards before he could even reach Hyuga Hiyashi. Thinking of this, Qian Yu also had no thoughts of salted fish. After lunch, Qian Yu put on a training suit and headed to the training ground. Konoha provides a large number of training grounds for ninjas, which Qian Yu has never been to. Now it is time for him to start practicing ninjutsu. Character: Cameo Qian Yu. Age: 5 years old. Constitution: 155. Sage body is awakening. Spirit: 103. Immortal eyes not awakened. Chakra: 4.7 cards. Skills: Chakra refinement 56 500 at level 5, throwing 66 800 at level 8, great fireball technique 185 400 at level 4, slightly. Chakra attributes: Wind 4, Thunder 5, Earth 2, Fire 2, Water 2, Yin 1, Yang 4. Credits: 3265. The appearance of the property panel will be reduced in the later stage, and it will appear in a simplified form. Evaluation: Kong has a powerful force, but does not know how to apply it, but with brute force alone, you are already invincible by Chunin. Gorgeous panel, appalling reviews. This is the current situation in Chiba. Even Kakashi would have a headache if he opened up and bombarded him with ninjutsu. But his experience is too weak. Ninja fighting isn't all about chakra and ninjutsu alone. If that's the case, then what's the deal? Everyone just sits down and has more chakra than anyone else. If nothing else, today's Chiba is a lot worse than a normal ninja in the seal. Now he can barely do 3 seals per second. There is also the risk of going out of shape. The baked chicken system also does not count the seal as a separate skill, and there is no shortcut at all. Of course, there are no shortcuts. As long as he raises the level of ninjutsu to the 9th level, most ninjutsu can be simplified and even released without a seal. But before that, Qian Yu should still practice the not seal honestly. Hello, which training ground is empty now? Qian Yu asked after training in front of the office management staff of the relationship training ground. The staff member looked at him strangely. It was rare to rent a training ground at such a young age. But he didn't talk much, checked the form in his hand, and then said to Qian Yu. The number 22 training ground is still empty. You can use it until 6 o'clock in the afternoon. The cost is 1,000 taels. Qian Yu nodded. The price was not too expensive, so he paid for it and settled it. Konoha's training ground is not as simple as an open space, and the relevant equipment on it is very complete. 1,000 taels can be used for one afternoon, which can be said to be very conscientious. Si, Wei, Shen, Hai, Wu, Yin. Fire style great fireball technique. At the same time as the seal, the chakra in the body also runs regularly. Qian Yu opened his mouth and spat out, and a fireball with a diameter of 4 or 5 meters shot out. The scorching heat left the grass on the ground with scorch marks. Fortunately, Qian Yu was released at the pool, otherwise there would have been a fire. Even so, a lot of water was evaporated from the small pool. According to the introduction of the system panel, the power of ninjutsu performed by Qian Yu is determined by three aspects. The first is the level of ninjutsu. The higher the level, the greater the power. The second is the level of chakra's nature transformation. The difference between the two is that nature transformation has a beneficial effect on all ninjutsu, equivalent to a buff. The third is the size of the amount of chakra. The more chakra is input into the ninjutsu, the more powerful the ninjutsu will naturally be. However, this is not to say that he uses as much chakra as he wants. Once beyond the control of the caster, the release is likely to fail. Therefore, chakra's control is crucial. The finer the chakra control, the higher the upper limit of chakra contained in each ninjutsu. The above contents are all made by the author according to his own understanding, and are applicable to this book. Readers with different opinions can come forward. After clarifying these three issues, Qian Yu also has a clear goal for the current training direction. First and foremost is the chakra control. I don't know if it's because of the system, but Qian Yu's talent in chakra control is very good. Climbing trees and treading water are all done once, and now it will not be a problem to let him dance ballet on the water. The second is nature transformation. After all, the proficiency of ninjutsu can only be practiced one by one, but nature transformation can have an effect on all ninjutsu. Among the 5 attributes of ninjutsu, Qian Yu has the most favorable impression of the gorgeous thunder attribute. Recalling the endless Chidori Ryu ninjutsu of the 2 pillars in the future, Qian Yu decided that everything starts with lightning style. For the next few months, Qian Yu fully immersed himself in the practice of chakra nature transformation. In the final analysis, chakra's nature transformation is the ninja's perception of this attribute. To practice wind style, it is necessary to exert the cutting power of wind to the ultimate. To practice fire style, you need to constantly increase the temperature of the flame. The lightning style chosen by Qian Yu aims to increase the speed and damage of lightning. His training method is also very simple, that is, he constantly converts the chakra in his body into electric current and then releases it. Nothing beats a practice that makes perfect. With the support of the huge chakra, he can train far more hours per day than ordinary ninjas, and the progress is visible to the naked eye. October 10th. In the blink of an eye, it was autumn again. The climate of Konoha is very pleasant. Even in late autumn, the temperature is very warm. On this day, dark clouds gathered over the entire village, revealing a sense of depression. Qian Yu also stopped cultivating, put on a solemn black dress, and picked up a bouquet of aster flowers that had been prepared a long time ago. He walked out of the house with an expressionless face. On the road, many people dressed in the same clothes and walked in one direction in silence. 5 years ago today, too many people in Konoha left their relatives and friends forever. Every day, there will be countless people who miss them in the burial place of the Konoha undead. In front of the memorial tablet, Qian Yu found the side with his parents' names engraved on it, and gently placed the flower on the ground. Aster flower, the flower language is memory, remembrance and reflection. After crossing into the world of Hokage, he didn't have time to see his parents in this life, and both of them died. But that didn't stop Qian Yu from being grateful to them. Without them, I would have no new beginning. Until now, he can live so comfortably in Konoha, and there are many reasons why these two left behind. Otherwise, he would also be a member of the orphanage. It was getting darker and darker, and it didn't take long for a light rain to fall. It seems that the sky is crying for those people. There are fewer and fewer people beside the memorial monument. The deceased is like this, but life has to go on. However, Qian Yu didn't move, just stood here silently for more than an hour. When he was about to leave, his clothes were already soaked by the rain. Somewhat unexpectedly, Qian Yu originally thought he was the only one here. As a result, on the other side of the memorial monument, there was a man who did not leave, and stood there silently. And he also knew this man. Hitaki Kakashi, also known as Konoha No. 1 Technician, Hitaki Jokushuin, the owner of Mangekyo Presbyopia. To be precise, only Qian Yu knew Kakashi, and Kakashi didn't know him. Kakashi at this time is much younger than when he appeared in the original. The whole person also exudes a decadent atmosphere. Qian Yu understood him very well. In less than a year, in his world, Obito died, Lin was killed by herself, and her master and teacher died. It was a miracle that Kakashi didn't find short-sightedness after the blows took turns. But even if he survived strong, the pain in his heart is far from healed. Glancing at him, Qian-yu left without saying hello. The current Kakashi is still working in Anbu, and the whole person is full of darkness. It's better not to have an intersection between the two. And Kakashi was also aware, looking up at the back of Qian-yu's departure. Back home, the expansion brought about by the rapid growth of strength also disappeared in an instant. He's still far from it. Although it has surpassed many people, it is still an ant in the face of tailed beasts and super-spec powerhouses. Only by continuing to be strong can you truly master your own destiny. Hokage office. Uchiha Shisui kneeled in front of third Hokage respectfully and said firmly. With this pair of eyes, I have the confidence to stop those discordant voices in the clan. Just now, Shisui felt the intensifying conflict between the village and the family, and finally decided to tell Sarutobi Hiruzen about his Mangekyo abilities and plans. He intends to release distinguished heavenly gods to all Uchiha members at the next clan meeting, completely turning their minds around. Use this to stifle the coming coup. Looking at the boy kneeling in front of him, third generation couldn't help thinking of his former companion. Uchiha Kagami. Like Shisui, he is completely different from Uchiha in the traditional sense, and both have a great love for Konoha. Mirror, if you could live longer, maybe the situation would be different now. Third generation sighed inwardly. Shisui, I recognize the will of fire in your heart, but don't act rashly, now is not the time. I still have some official business to deal with here, you should step back first. Shisui heard this and glanced at third Hokage gratefully. In his opinion, third generation didn't want him to use this method to deal with the family, so he was still hesitating. Although the strength is undoubtedly a cage-level powerhouse. But Shisui's political talent is really bad. He could never have imagined that when he revealed his whole cards, he would not be far from death. Tell Danzo about the conversation between us just now. After Shisui left, third generation said without thinking, and concentrated on processing the document in question. The ability of distinguished heavenly gods is too terrifying. As a ruler, he absolutely does not want to see anyone under his command possess such ability. Now Shisui's heart is on Konoha, and the future of the Uchiha family can be sacrificed for the sake of the village. Can you do it later? What if Shisui suddenly changed his mind and controlled him? Third generation would never allow this to happen. At this time, the role of Danzo is reflected. These dirty work that he is not convenient to do is the meaning of the existence of the roots. On the other hand, Danzo sneered after hearing what Anbu had to say. Hiruzen, you are still so hypocritical. An old friend for many years, his knowledge of third generation can't even match that of Sarutobi Lake Biwa. This is clearly to let him take the blame. But Danzo didn't care. On the contrary, he felt that he had made a profit. As long as he gets Shisui's Sharingan, his strength will definitely be greatly enhanced. With third generation and Danzo fighting, Shisui is no doubt tragic. After losing a Sharingan, Shisui opened his eyes and slashed his way to find Itachi, who was waiting for him. On the cliff, Itachi hugged Shisui, who had lost one of his eyes, and looked sad. I'm sorry, but 7 in a dozen, I failed. Shisui's voice was very weak, and his right eye was still bleeding. He refused Itachi to take him to Qian-yu for treatment. Shisui knew that with Qian-yu's ability, he would definitely save his life. But what's the use of him surviving, having lost a Mangekyo? On the contrary, it will bring a lot of trouble to the little guy. This is Shisui, a man who thinks of other people before he dies. With the last ounce of strength, Shisui pulled out his left eye and gave it to Itachi. After my death, the clan will definitely be affected, and there will be no rebellion in a short time. The only one I can ask is you, your best friend, Itachi. Protect this village and protect the reputation of the Uchiha family. After speaking, Shisui jumped off the cliff and disappeared into the bottomless canyon. Shisui. Itachi's eyes were shedding blood. The 3 hook jades turned frantically and finally linked together. Shisui is dead, and the news spreads in the village before you know it. Many people were very surprised. After all, Shisui was known as the #1 master of Uchiha before and was very famous. Why did he die suddenly? The Uchiha family was even more furious about this, and they investigated in depth. They first saw Shisui's suicide note, which said suicide. The tribesmen do not believe it. And then, they found out that neither Itachi nor Shisui attended the clan meeting that day, and their suspicious eyes were naturally placed on Itachi. Itachi has no explanation for this. Due to his status as the son of the patriarch, other clansmen were helpless. But since then, Itachi and the family have also begun to have an estrangement. After Shisui's death, Uchiha's power was no longer enough to compete with the village, and the rebellion that had been on the string came to an abrupt end. Qian Yu also heard about Shisui's death and was not surprised at all. It's just a pity that he lacks a person who can sew wool. But there are also surprises. Mangekyo's burden on the body became greater, and Itachi came to Qian Yu more frequently to relieve his condition. On this day, after finishing the task, Itachi donated a wave of wool before returning home. Nissan. Hearing this voice, a smile appeared on Itachi's face. It's Sasuke. Did you listen to your mother today? Sasuke, who was still in a cute period, ran to Itachi excitedly and jumped on his back. Nissan, you're back late again. There is some dissatisfaction in the words. Recently, the big brother is spending less and less time with him, which makes Sasuke very dissatisfied. Itachi apologized slightly. Sorry Sasuke, big brother has a lot of tasks to do. As a double agent, Itachi not only has to follow the orders of the third generation to monitor the clan, but also helps Uchiha Fugaku monitor the movement of the village. Things on both sides kept him busy. Okay, big brother, I have learned the great fireball technique, can you train with me tomorrow? The child's temper came and went quickly. After Itachi apologized, Sasuke didn't care and looked at his big brother expectantly. Itachi was startled and praised Sasuke a few words. But training is definitely not going to work. Forgive me, Sasuke, big brother is really busy. This is the last time. Seeing what the big brother said, even if Sasuke was not happy, he could only agree with grievances. To distract him, Itachi brings up Qian Yu. I met a new kid recently. He's the same age as you, and he's also a genius. So Sasuke, even if the big brother is gone, you can't slack off. Sasuke was not convinced. What's his name? Kamio Qian Yu, you are the same age as you. Maybe you will still be classmates when you go to ninja school next year. Sasuke secretly memorized the name. Kamio Qian Yu. It's you who stole the big brother's care. I'll be sure to let you know when I get in. Big brother is mine. Ah, Qian Yu, who was enjoying dinner with Hinata, rubbed his nose. Who is this talking about him behind his back? Mr. Qian Yu, are you all right? Hinata looked at him with concern, for fear that Qian Yu might catch a cold. It's okay, it's just that my nose is a little itchy. Qian Yu smiled heartily and skipped the topic. Hinata has to undergo family training every day, and it is not easy to accompany him to dinner today. Looking at the bandage wrapped around his little hand, he felt a little distressed. He held Hinata's fingers as he started healing. Mr. Qian Yu. Hinata's voice was thin and flies, and heat was bubbling from his head. She knew that it was Qian Yu who was treating her, but their movements were so intimate and shy. Hinata also doesn't understand that although she is also very introverted when facing others, she will never be the same as she is now. As long as it was related to Qian Yu, her heartbeat would involuntarily speed up. Hinata, I know you desperately want your father's approval, but training in moderation. Qian Yu said with pity that he didn't want Hinata to suffer so much. It's okay, Mr. Qian Yu, this is all of my own accord. Feeling his concern, Hinata warmed her heart and comforted her softly. Actually, Qian Yu was only half right. The reason why Hinata works so hard is not just because of his father. More than that, she saw Qian Yu's efforts. Hinata would work so hard to be able to stand behind him. After the two finished eating, Qian Yu took the initiative to escort Hinata home. Although he knew that there were branch house guards around, he was still worried. Along the way, the two chatted casually, and also talked about going to school next year. Ninja school is not something you can go to if you want. Either you have an admission notice or you have to have a good talent. And he has both, third generation said a long time ago about enrolling next year. At this time, Hinata was still a little worried that the two would not be divided into a class. Qian Yu didn't panic at all. With his status in the heart of the third generation, he is in no way inferior to the descendants of the Ino Shikacho family. No matter what, he will definitely be assigned to the class of 9 Xiaoqiang. After getting his reassurance, Hinata also felt relieved. Before they knew it, they came to the door of Hyuga's house. After sending Hinata in, Qian Yu also turned around and left, but his eyes fluctuated a little. He felt a peeping gaze. Future father-in-law's observation. And deep in the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hiyashi rolled his eyes and whispered. What a horrible chakra, is this really a 5-year-old child? But that's not enough. On the way home, Qian Yu frowned and thought. Maybe because he's a kid, Hyuga Hiyashi's peeps aren't anything to hide. Qian Yu felt it very easily. It's just that he couldn't figure out the mind of this future father-in-law. But what is certain is that the road with Hinata in the future will definitely not be so smooth. After all, his father was not Hokage, his teacher was not Hokage, and his master was not Hokage's master. The Hyuga family is the most decadent family in the entire Konoha. Cruel clan, branch house system, stubborn elders. If you want Hinata to marry out and not be marked with caged bird, you must convince them with absolute strength. However, Qian Yu didn't have much fear in his heart. If it really pissed him off, it would be a big deal to get rid of the caged bird in the entire branch house. He believes that systematic therapy can certainly do this. Autumn and winter come, and in the blink of an eye, it is another few months. During this time, Qian Yu's life was orderly, and he practiced chakra transformation every day. To his dissatisfaction, as the 5 countries recuperate, there is less and less friction. This has led to a gradual decrease in the number of patients at Konoha Hospital. With the strength of Konoha shinobi, the task of exterminating bandits and escorting goods can be said to be very safe. Although peace is a good thing, Qian Yu is uncomfortable. Now he receives very few injured people every day, and the attributes and points provided are simply appalling. Although he knew it was a little bad, Qian Yu was already looking forward to when Nagato would come to Konoha for a spin. In that case, he might be able to step beyond the shadows. Fortunately, however, Uchiha Itachi appears quite regularly, and every time it contributes a good wave of wool. This makes Qian Yu's accomplishments in fire style ninjutsu second only to his main attack, lightning style. And that's just a side benefit. What really excited Qian Yu was these 2 awards. Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, Itachi's 2 Mangekyo's pupil techniques were all brushed out by him. However, the current Qian Yu cannot use them yet. Only by reaching Mangekyo's pupil power can he unleash these 2 skills. But don't worry, even if you can't open Mangekyo by yourself, or even Eternal Mangekyo. But as long as you have enough points, you can exchange them directly from the system store. End of March, Qian Yu received the admission letter from the ninja school and will report in 3 days. This means that he is about to become a glorious elementary school student in the ninja world. Qian Yu is also very much looking forward to this. Konoha 12 Xiaoqiang, he only knows Hinata and Naruto now, and the rest of them have not been in contact. He had been looking forward to this day for a long time. However, now Qian Yu still has a problem to solve. Old third generation, what do you mean? Inside Hokage's office, Qian Yu stared at third Hokage, who was smoking a pipe. The Anbu guard who was hiding in the dark heard him calling third Hokage, so his eyes instantly turned bad, and he wanted to rush out to teach Qian Yu a lesson. But it was stopped by third generation. After such a long time, his relationship with Qian Yu has not been what it used to be, and the names have become more casual. Third generation didn't think there was anything wrong with this, thinking, he also thought it was an expression of closeness. Qian Yu, I know you are kind-hearted and don't want to see others get hurt. Now that the ninja world is peaceful, Konoha Hospital is completely busy. For your academic consideration, you don't have to go there to help for the time being. It turned out that just now, third generation called Qian Yu over and told him not to go to Konoha Hospital anymore. That's why there is such a violent reaction. Not allowed to go to Konoha Hospital. How about that? Didn't this cut off his woolly path? Qian Yu's head immediately shook like a rattle. I can just let Shadow Clone help me go to the hospital as before, without any delay. Now third generation is a little confused, and doesn't understand why he is so obsessed with treating the wounded. In this regard, Qian Yu also justified and gave reasons. I'm going to marry a daughter-in-law in the future. I won't save some dowry gifts now. Do you want me to eat soft rice? Konoha Hospital is not free to treat the injured, they will charge according to the severity of the injury and the time it takes. In the past 2 years, Qian Yu's income from the hospital alone has kept up with the money for 4 or 5 A-level missions. Not to mention a huge pension. After hearing what he said, third generation also burst into laughter. He still knew about Qian Yu and Hinata, and was happy to see it happen. With the support of the Hyuga family, the possibility of becoming a Hokage is also much higher. Qian Yu is good at everything, has talent, and has the will to fire. It is because of his poor background that he has lost too many supporters. While thinking about it, third generation finally agreed to Qian Yu's request. That's all right, just go to the hospital with Shadow Clone as you always do. However, I have one more condition. Speaking of this, third generation paused and called out an Anbu. You go and destroy all the documents of Cameo Qian Yu at Konoha Hospital, and ask the doctors there not to mention it. Seeing that Qian Yu was a little confused, third generation explained to him, this is also to protect you. Don't use the identity of Cameo Qian Yu to go to Konoha Hospital during school. I'll fake a fictitious ninja for you and get paid. Qian Yu had no opinion on this. As long as the attribute points can be brushed, these are all minor details. 3 days passed in a flash. Soon it was the day when ninja school started. Along the way, Chiba saw many parents leading their children towards the school. In Konoha, or the entire ninja world, ninjas are high-paying professions. Of course it's a high-risk job. But even so, many families still hope to have a ninja at home. Perhaps because of lack of talent, they can only become genin or chunin. But it is enough to make a qualitative change in a family's life. With the end of the war, third Hokage adjusted the ninja school's strategy accordingly. In the war years, as long as you want to become a ninja, no matter whether your own conditions are good enough, the school will not refuse anyone who comes. Even the age requirements for students have been lowered a lot. After all, cannon fodder also has a role to play. Qian Yu remembered that the youngest member of Konoha's entrance was Yugong Kei's, who was successfully selected at the age of 2. But the consequence of doing so is to become a sick seedling. In peaceful times, the ninja school was much more demanding. Cultivating a group of genin with no potential is of no use to the village, so it is better to screen them out directly. However, no matter how high the requirements are, it will have no effect on the related households and powerful factions like Qian Yu. When I came to the gate of the ninja school, it was already crowded with people. Qian Yu didn't step forward either, but just stood alone under a big tree, as if the surrounding noise had nothing to do with him. It's just that his eyes are constantly searching the crowd. Not to mention, it really made him discover a few acquaintances. Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, Yamanaka Ino. The Ino Shika-cho trio never left, all following behind their respective fathers. Inazuka and Aburame Shino also appeared. Hey, Shikamaru, Choji, look over there, that boy is so handsome. Ino's eyes lit up and he saw Qian Yu leaning against the tree. And Qian Yu also noticed her gaze, the eyes of the two met, and Qian Yu smiled slightly. Ino bowed his head shyly and said excitedly to the two beside him. Shikamaru with a pineapple head sighed helplessly. So troublesome, why do 6-year-old girls start to be nympho? However, he still looked in the direction Ino said. Well, it's really handsome. Choji didn't respond, and continued to immerse himself in his bag of chips. Shikamaru, do you think he will be assigned a class with us? If that handsome guy goes to another class, I will regret it for the rest of my life. Shikamaru was a little helpless, and after observing it, he said to Ino, don't worry, you will definitely be assigned to our class. He has an admission letter in his kabuto, and usually those who are admitted by the letter are in the same class. As for the reason, he did not explain. These are not things that Ino can understand. Ino didn't care either, she just knew that Shikamaru rarely made mistakes, and that was enough. After a while, another heavyweight appeared. Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha is one of the 4 heroes of laughing wildly, and every time he pretends, he will be beaten. However, Qianyu still admired him. Sasuke's combat IQ and viewing ability are more than 1 level stronger than Naruto's. After all, Naruto is nothing but meatballs. And Sasuke's ninjutsu, taijutsu, and even the manipulation of the shuriken are extremely gorgeous. It was Uchiha Itachi who sent Sasuke to school today, and the appearance of the two also caused a commotion. Not only because of the super high looks of the brothers, but also because of Uchiha's prestige. In the eyes of many, since there is Uchiha in this class, then the head of the grade must be theirs. After signing up, the two did not leave directly. Instead, he walked towards Qianyu under the leadership of Uchiha Itachi. Mr. Qianyu, please take care of Sasuke in the future. Nissan. Urzuzi's eyes were full of doubts, and he didn't understand why his big brother would say that. But he quickly reflected. Qianyu, cameo Qianyu. Is that the genius his big brother mentioned? Immediately, Sasuke's gaze towards Qianyu was full of hostility. It was him who stole the big brother's attention. Qianyu was a little confused. Is the brother control attribute of Urzuzi at this stage so serious? It was a simple greeting, and his eyes changed. Thinking about it this way, he was miserable enough. The more you love it now, the more you will hate it later. However, that might not be a good thing. Instead of retreating, Qianyu advanced and gave Sasuke a defiant look. Urzuzi is a big wool man, and he has a lot of good things on him. One of the most critical is Indra's chakra. Now tease Urzuzi, and in the future, he will be able to push him to take action against himself. At that time, you can both beat Sasuke and smash wool. Sure enough, when Sasuke saw Qianyu's little beating eyes, his teeth tickled immediately. Itachi on the side witnessed everything and said nothing. In his opinion, it was just a play between two children. Qianyu didn't bother with Sasuke anymore, because Hinata also came. Looking at Hyuga Hiyashi next to him, he didn't come forward to say hello. However, the two of them are in a good mood, and they look at each other with affection, and everything is silent. Only Hiyashi's fists clenched and loosened. This stinky boy dared to flirt with his daughter openly and above board when he didn't exist. She is only 6 years old. With the end of registration, the school also quickly started the test. Qianyu simply used a clone technique and successfully passed the test. And was classified into the elite class. Sasuke is also not to be outdone. Using transformation technique to become his own Nissan image, the performance is equally dazzling. One after another, other Shaoqiang also started the assessment. It is undeniable that the children of the ninja have widened the gap from the commoners since childhood. Like Ino Shikacho, and Inuzuka Ya, Aburame Shino and others, they all passed the exam with ease, and their grades were very good. The children of the commoners are all about talent. If you are lucky, you can get into the elite class. Wait for me. Just as Iruka, who was in charge of this assessment, was about to leave, Naruto finally arrived. Under the disgusted eyes of many people, he rushed in panting. Yes, sorry, I overslept. With a black line on Qianyu's face, he knew that Naruto was unreliable, and he went to remind him yesterday. It turned out to be late today. Still, with the physical fitness of the Uzumaki clan and the recommendation letter from 3rd generation, he entered the elite class without any risk. Yo, Qianyu. After Iruka announced the results of the placement, Naruto found Qianyu full of energy. Idiot, didn't I say get up early today? Qianyu rolled his eyes and yelled at Naruto. Ha ha ha, Naruto scratched the back of his head, a little embarrassed. I was so excited last night that I forgot to set the alarm. But it doesn't matter, I have already entered the ninja school, and I will definitely become a Hokage in the future. Looking like a hot-blooded fool, Qianyu wanted to stay away from this guy. Simply social death. Come on, I invite you to eat Ichiraku ramen, don't be ashamed here. Qianyu hurriedly urged, then pulled Naruto and left, while throwing a look at Hinata who was still looking at him. Today is not very suitable for the two to connect with each other, but the days in the school will be long in the future. On the other hand, Hyuga Hiyashi looked at Naruto's back, with a somewhat uncertain expression. In his capacity, he naturally knows a lot of things. Is there really no problem with approaching Nine Tails Jinchuriki so openly? Hiyashi suddenly felt that the background behind Qian Yu was not so simple. Night. After completing today's training, Qian Yu returned home with a slightly tired body. Although school will start tomorrow, he will not fall behind in his daily training. Perhaps it has become a part of his life. Character: Cameo Qian Yu. Age: 6 years old. Constitution: 658. Sage body is awakening. Spirit: 459. Immortal eyes not awakened. Chakra: 18.6 cards. Skills: Chakra refinement 7. Great fireball technique 7. Fire style fireball 6. Lightning style ground walk 7. Lightning style web spider 5. Wind style vacuum sword 6. Slightly. Chakra attributes: wind 5. Thunder 7. Earth 3. Fire 6. Water 4. Yin 2. Yang 5. Credits: 8,963. Comments: superior physique, cage level chakra. You already have the strength of the elite in Jonin, just inexperienced. More than a year has passed. In addition to the increase in basic attributes, Qian Yu's control of ninjutsu has become more and more profound. Many of the ninjutsu have even reached the level of 7, which is the level that elite Jonin's signature ninjutsu can achieve. However, Qian Yu found that every subsequent level up would cost him a lot of experience. After all, the higher the level of ninjutsu, the greater the difference in power. Wanting to destroy Madara's arrogant fire, it is likely that the ninjutsu level and the nature transformation level have both reached level 9, or even level 10 full level. 6-year-old Qian Yu has the power of elite Jonin, and with the addition of terrifying chakra and physique, he can even touch cage level. This is already a remarkable achievement. But he was still a little dissatisfied. Qian Yu felt that his development was already a bit eccentric. Although his physique is strong, he has not systematically learned physical arts and melee combat. You can only fight the enemy with strong reflexes and strength. Also, after all this time, even Shisui is dead and his Sharingan has not awakened. Qian Yu has also thought about this issue. In the analysis posts of many bigwigs in the previous life, it is said that the awakening of Sharingan is related to spiritual power. But his current mental strength is definitely not weak. Why not even Shanguyu? Is it really necessary to have some violent mood swings? After thinking hard for a long time, Qian Yu had no idea, so he had to take a step by step. As for the points on hand, Qian Yu has no plans to use it now. He had already chosen his target. 9 Tails Chakra Seeds, 1W 5 points. Product description: this is the 9 Tails Chakra Seed. After entering the host's body, it will grow on its own. The final form is the 9 Tails Chakra in its heyday, and the 9 Tails Chakra mode can be turned on. Note: this is a chakra aggregate, which is unconscious and cannot help the host to condense the magic chakra. Just a single chakra seed is approaching the value of Rinnegan, equal to the Eternal Mangekyo. Of course, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan needs to be exchanged step by step, and cannot be exchanged out of thin air, so it will be a lot more expensive in general. But this is enough for the value of this seed. In the next 6 years, Qian Yu will basically not encounter any danger, and he has the capital to save the points in his hand. In exchange for such a growing commodity. In the store, there are also chakra seeds from other 8-tailed beasts. If Qian Yu redeems all chakra seeds and grows to a full state, that also means that he has a 10 tails of his own. Proper 6 paths level power. Thinking of this, Rao Yi Qian Yu's mental quality as a wall hangs a little. As long as he becomes 10 Tails Jinchuriki, in the entire ninja world, only the goddess of Yuo who is sealed in the moon can be his opponent. Then he'll have to see it. Kagaya Haim, an ascetic, can keep his original faith in his hands. Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Konoha, Medical Ninja, One Punch Fly 6 Paths Madara. Chapter 21. Early the next morning, Qian Yu dressed up and summoned a shadow clone. According to the file given by 3rd generation, Shadow Clone has turned into an ordinary-looking young ninja. Remember, your name is now. Speaking of this, Qian Yu was a little embarrassed. He forgot his name and thought about it for a long time before he remembered it. Your name is Yusuke Kazaki, and when you ask it, you say it was assigned from Anbu. Shadow Clone nodded expressionlessly and headed straight to the hospital. He's just a tool man with no emotions. As for the shadow clone who went to the Konoha forest to search for beasts, Qianyu hadn't sent it out for a long time. Because of his painful discovery, these ordinary beasts can only provide him with one-time attribute points. More than a year has passed, and the animals near Konoha have been harmed almost by him, and sometimes they can't find one for a day or two. Simply, he will no longer waste his efforts. After doing this, Qianyu came to the school, the first grade. At this time, there were already many people in the classroom. Qianyu searched around, and soon saw Hinata at the back. "Morning, Hinata." Without hesitation, he went straight to Hinata's side. "Morning, Mr. Qianyu." Hinata showed a shallow smile, and it was obvious that she was in a good mood. The reason is also related to Qianyu. From today, they can stay together every day. And Qianyu's outstanding appearance also attracted the attention of all the girls in the class. "He's so handsome, what's his name?" "I don't know either, let's ask later." "Don't think about it, such a handsome boy must be the father of my future child." The girls talked a lot, while the boys looked at Qianyu with bad eyes. "This stinky guy, how can he be so cool on the first day of school?" "Hello, my name is Yamanaka Ino, nice to meet you." Only then did Qianyu realize that his front row was the Ino Shikacho trio, and Ino stared at him without blinking. He is also very fond of this straightforward girl. Especially in Shippuden period, Ino's hot body and dazzling blonde hair really attracted a lot of attention. "Hello, my name is Kamio Qianyu, who are the two next to you?" Looking at Shikamaru, who was dazed, and a Choji eating snacks, Qianyu asked in a confused manner. "Hey, don't eat it, and you, Shikamaru." Ino was a little embarrassed, his friend looked unreliable, and always felt embarrassed. "Alas, trouble." Shikamaru forcibly cheered up and greeted Qianyu. "Nara Shikamaru, this is Akamichi Choji." Seeing the busy Choji in his mouth, Shikamaru had to help. Qianyu also greeted them. As for Hinata, as the eldest lady of Hyuga's clan, the Ino Shikacho trio naturally knew each other. Ino is very cheerful and outgoing, and the two chatted very happily. At this time, there was a commotion in the class, and it turned out that Sasuke had arrived. Uchiha's name, coupled with excellent appearance. Sasuke is no less attractive to little girls than Qianyu. Even with a cold face, he is more attractive than Qianyu. After all, kids of this age love cool things. What, another stinky guy? Qianyu was taken aback and turned around to see that it was Naruto. "Naruto, when are you here?" Naruto glanced at Qianyu resentfully. "I sat here before you came." Qianyu smiled embarrassingly. He only saw Hinata in his eyes just now, but he was pulled by Ino again, and he didn't realize that Naruto was sitting behind him. However, Naruto and Sasuke haven't made contact yet, so it's not pleasing to the eye. Should it be the bond between Ashura and Indra? In a previous life, Qianyu had heard a saying. It is said that Ashura and Indra are constantly reincarnated because they enjoy the thrill of falling in love and killing each other. That way you can spend more time with each other. Check out Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, then look at Naruto and Sasuke. Inexplicably, Qianyu actually felt that this statement was very marketable. The bell rang for the class, and Iruka walked in with a stack of documents with a stiff smile on her face. This year is also the first time he has become a teacher, and he is very nervous. Especially in the elite class, there are many future owners of the ninja clan. Make him feel a lot of pressure. Still, good training got Iruka into shape quickly. After making some self-introductions, he also asked the students to introduce themselves one by one. There were about 30 people in a class, and Qianyu, the first passerby, was not interested and quickly skipped it. Finally it was the turn of the two pillars. "My name is Uchiha Sasuke, and my dream is to become a ninja as powerful as my big brother and inherit Uchiha's glory." When he said these words, there was still a cool expression on his face. Tisk, worthy of being the owner of the boundary who pretends to escape the blood. Qianyu clearly found that the little Sakura, who had been inconspicuous all along, was blushing and looked straight at Sasuke. "My name is Hyuga Hinata, my dream is..." At the end, Hinata's voice was so thin that even Qianyu who was beside him couldn't hear it. But looking at the look in her eyes that glanced at her quietly, she knew that it must have something to do with herself. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. The dream is to become Hokage and be recognized by everyone. When it was Naruto's turn to introduce, he excitedly clapped the table and stood up, speaking with great enthusiasm. However, the response was very dull. In the eyes of most people, there is only disdain and ridicule, as if mocking Naruto's self-control. Even Iruka could only smile awkwardly. This is not the Iruka who has recognized Naruto in the future. His parents also died in the Nine Tails Rebellion, which led to his prejudice against Naruto. Okay, you can sit down, Vortex classmate. Naruto frantically said, I'm going to be Hokage. I trust you, Naruto. A gentle voice was evident in the quiet classroom. Qian-Yu looked at Naruto seriously. I believe that you can become the Hokage that everyone recognizes. Qian-Yu. Naruto looked at Qian-Yu with tears in his eyes, and then his heart was filled with warmth. Only Qian-Yu believed him. He secretly made up his mind that Naruto would do everything in his power to become Hokage, even to live up to Qian-Yu's expectations. Qian-Yu recognizes you, and I will recognize you, Naruto. Hinata spoke timidly, supporting Qian-Yu with her actions. Not to be outdone, Ino said, yes, I believe Qian-Yu, Naruto, you will definitely become Hokage. The others in the class were stunned. They did not expect that after Qian-Yu spoke, the children of two consecutive large families expressed their approval of Naruto. And that's not the end. Shikamaru straightened up helplessly. Ino Shikacho, Ino Shikacho. Even the pig has made a statement, how can he be indifferent? However, this will really bring a lot of trouble. Naruto, if you want to be a Hokage, just work hard, just talking about it doesn't help. It is not stated explicitly, but the meaning inside is also obvious. Naruto wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and nodded vigorously. It was the first time he had been encouraged by so many people. Choji finally finished his snack and pointed his thumb at Naruto. Me too. Sasuke snorted and said nothing, but he also secretly remembered Naruto. Now it was Iruka's turn to have a hard time, and some didn't know how to deal with the situation in front of him. It seems that everyone is still very friendly. I hope that Vortex will work hard in the future. Student, it's time for you to introduce yourself. He looked at Qian-Yu curiously, wanting to know what the hell this was. Why, after he expressed his attitude, the eldest ladies of the Hyuga family and Yamanaka family couldn't wait to agree. In my impression, Konoha does not have this number. Qian-Yu took no hassle and stood up slowly. My name is Kamio Qian-Yu. My dream is to become the strongest in the whole ninja world, so that I can protect my friends. It would be better if I could marry a few more wives. After speaking, Hinata blushed, and Ino's eyes lit up. The words fell, and several black lines appeared on Iruka's forehead. A Hokage, the strongest in the whole ninja world. The most excessive is, he still has several wives. He Iruka is the mother's solo until now. Reluctantly squeezed out a smile and let Qian-Yu sit down, Iruka hurriedly ended the self-introduction session. He was suddenly tired. In the first year of being a teacher, I encountered a problem in a class, how to break the students online and so on, in a hurry. In the Hokage office, third generation looked relieved. Today is the opening day of the ninja school, and this year is especially special. Not only does Naruto, the Jinchuriki, exist, but also the future heads of several major ninja tribes, as well as Qian-Yu, the suspected descendant of Senju. As Hokage, it is natural to pay more attention to this. He watched everything that happened in the classroom. For Naruto's dream, he is very recognized. It's just that when I see everyone's reaction, I feel very guilty. It was because of his inaction that Naruto suffered so much. But it's done, even he can't change anything now. And then, Qian-Yu's actions made him feel great comfort. With such a friend, Naruto, I believe you will never be alone again. In addition, Chiba's infectious power is quite amazing, and Ino Shikacho can stand by his side on the first day of school. The last time such a powerful person was Namikaze Minato. Third generation put away the crystal ball, and he didn't need to look at the next thing, but thought about the situation in the village. Shisui's death brought Uchiha's rebellion to an abrupt end, but it was only temporary. The contradiction between the two still exists, and there is a growing trend. As Hokage, He didn't want such a dynamite barrel to remain unfired all the time, but Uchiha is also Konoha's important fighting force. Once the situation gets out of hand, it is possible to suppress Uchiha with the background of Konoha. But it will also cost a lot. All he can do now is try to maintain the balance of the situation. Swish! A figure with a cat face mask appeared in the office, and a faint trace of blood could be seen under the mask. It's a weasel. Third generation put away its sad face and said with a smile. Lord Hokage, Itachi behaved very respectfully. I'm here to report on the task of rebellion. He had just killed a ninja fleeing with important information about the village. Since joining Anbu, Itachi has seen too much darkness, and the constant killing of his companions has made his heart numb. Third generation silently listened to the mission report and gave a few words of encouragement. He is still very satisfied with Itachi. Not limited to one family, but to think in Hokage's perspective. Has the pose of Hokage. Too bad he is a Uchiha. Recently, Konoha has withered more and more, and there has been a fault in talent. Among the younger generation, apart from Kakashi, it turns out that Itachi is the most suitable to become Hokage. It was also the reason why he had high expectations for Qian Yu. Isn't this a kind of sadness? Once the largest village in the ninja world, the existence of the 4 countries alone. When was it so difficult to find a cage-level powerhouse? Third generation looked at the boy in front of him, and finally asked. Itachi, how come the village and Uchiha really got to that point? What are you going to do? What is the most important thing about being a ninja? Some people say it is strength, because strength is the guarantee for completing the task. Some people think that it is IQ. In the case of similar strength, ninjas with more strategies tend to live to the end. And now, Third Hokage told Qian Yu through Iruka's mouth. The most important thing for a ninja is loyalty. TMD. For a whole week, the first week of school, Iruka didn't say anything about the ninja's job. He only did one thing. It tells the wise and great Third Hokage in detail, lists his achievements one by one, and countless legendary stories. To this end, the school also gave everyone a biography of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Under such a brainwashing offensive, the students who originally had a great impression of third generation. In an instant, this kind of favor was raised to a notch. Especially the tigers like Naruto and Ya, who treat third generation as idols. And Qian Yu, after listening to it for 10 minutes, couldn't take it anymore. Although for political reasons, it is reasonable to have a movie with a high prestige. But it's too much of you to call yourself the strongest Hokage of all time. Qian Yu directly asked Hinata to help watch Iruka, and then fell asleep. Mr. Qian Yu, Mr. Qian Yu. The sleeping Qian Yu opened his eyes in a daze, and his posture was slightly naive when he hadn't woken up. Let the eyes of Hinata and Ino beside him shine. The day after school started, Ino abandoned the glorious tradition of Ino Shikacho and sat directly next to Qian Yu. This made the boys in the class envious and jealous. The 2 eldest ladies in the class just fell into his clutches. The point is, Hinata and Ino are still cute. This is even more depressing. After stretching, Qian Yu gradually woke up. The will of fire is indeed terrifying, not inferior to the legendary mouth and distinguished heavenly gods. He, whose spiritual attributes are comparable to elite Jonin, can't bear it, and every time he hears it, he can't help but want to sleep. Fortunately, Iruka has already said that from next week, the ninja school will begin to enter the official teaching. He doesn't have to endure such torture anymore. At noon, the students took out their own bento and started to enjoy lunch. And Qian Yu, under Hinata's careful care, doesn't need to prepare his own lunch at all. Every day Hinata prepares a hearty lunch, which she makes by herself. Looking at Qian Yu who was eating deliciously, Ino was very envious. What she envied was not Qian Yu, but Hinata. If only she could make a lunch for Qian Yu herself, how great would it be? With such thoughts in mind, Ino did not go home with the 2 of them for the first time after class, but hurried back by himself. Mother. Before entering the door, Ino shouted. What's wrong? Ino's mother, Yamanaka Hana, looked at her fiery daughter with some doubts. This is a gentle mother who speaks in a hurry. Mom, I want to learn cooking. Yamanaka was even more surprised when she heard Ino's words. Her daughter is the princess in the family, and she has never touched the sun with her fingers. Especially Hai, who is simply a daughter's slave, how can she let her daughter learn these things? Oh, Mom, don't worry about it, I must learn. Ino was a little anxious, and urged again. Okay, then you come with me. Yamanaka Huali didn't say anything this time. Girls are good at learning cooking, and they will be able to capture her husband's love better in the future. It's just that she didn't expect that the process would be so difficult. In one night, Ino didn't even make a qualified omelette. She didn't understand that her daughter, who was obviously very talented in flour arrangement, was actually a cooking idiot. Looking at the unidentified black substance that could no longer be called an egg in the pot, Yamanaka Kaori said in a complicated tone. Ino, I think you should focus more on more meaningful things. Don't. Ino was still not discouraged. I must cook qualified dishes, and let Qian Yu. Speaking of this, she felt a little gaffe, sticking out her tongue playfully. Yamanaka Hana was thoughtful, and suddenly understood why her daughter was so abnormal. Although he is young, it is good to meet someone you like. With a chuckle, Yamanaka patiently guided her daughter's cooking. At dinner, Yamanaka Kaiichi looked a little weird looking at today's dinner. Wally, did you cook tonight's dinner? Yamanaka Kaori glanced at her husband angrily. Do you dislike it? This is what your precious daughter did. Yamanaka Kai's eyes lit up. What does Ino do? No wonder it looks so chic. He must taste it. Picking up a piece of vegetables, Yamanaka Kai ate it without changing his face no matter how bad it was. It turned out unexpectedly. Not bad. Other than being a little salty, there is nothing wrong with the texture and taste. How is it? Is it delicious? Ino looked at Yamanaka Kaiichi expectantly, waiting for his evaluation. Very good. Our little Ino is smart, and it tastes so good the first time he cooks. It would be better if it was done in a lighter way. Hearing this, Ino nodded happily, and Yamanaka Kaiichi was also moved inwardly. In his heart, his daughter must be learning how to cook for himself. Yamanaka Kaori looked at her husband's moved look, and naturally understood what he was thinking, and smiled secretly. She didn't tell the story of the afternoon until she went to bed at night. What? You said Ino was only taught to cook for a stinky boy. Yamanaka Kaiichi couldn't believe it, and instantly felt that the little padded jacket was leaking. It's only been a few years, and the shelf life is too short, right? Yamanaka Huali covered her mouth and chuckled. Hi, I only know that the boy's name is Qian Yu, and I don't know anything about the others. You can go and see when you have time. What kind of child has such great charm and made such a big change in my family? Ino. Yamanaka Kai nodded and wrote down the name viciously. He also wanted to see which stinky boy dared to kidnap his precious daughter. Time flies, and in a blink of an eye, it's a new year. Inside the ninja school, Qian Yu collapsed on a chair and stared at the birds outside the window. Sure enough, no matter what world you are in, going to school is a boring thing. Shikamaru was in the same position as him, facing the warm sunlight. Shikamaru was about to fall asleep. Uruka, who was full of passion on stage, had veins appearing on his forehead. These two guys are definitely the key problem children in the class. The chalk in his hand was instantly split in two, and Uruka threw a hidden weapon at Qian Yu and Shikamaru. Today he has to teach these two guys a lesson. It's just that the strength is subconsciously reduced a lot, and only the precision is retained. Shikamaru spotted Uruka's movements and was perfectly capable of dodging. But he was lazy to hide. It's better to let Uruka hit it, let out a bad breath, and live a more comfortable life in the future. As a representative of high IQ, he understands how to solve problems in the simplest way. And Qian Yu, he didn't even lift his eyelids. Hinata reached out and took the chalk, softly but firmly said. Uruka-sensei, hitting students is wrong. Puff. Uruka almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. It's not right to hit students, so it's okay to be distracted in class and sleep. Usually Hinata is the top student in the class, but when Qian Yu is involved, it changes completely. How did such a lazy brat kidnap the eldest lady of Hyuga's house? After taking continuous deep breaths, he calmed down his excitement. Qian Yu, you answer this question. Qian Yu stood up helplessly, looking at the dense numbers and letters on the blackboard, lost in thought. Who can tell him why he is going to be a ninja and still can't escape the torture of mathematics and physics? Shuriken or something, throw it out soon enough, why do you still need to count? Qian Yu was pushed, maybe even a cage-level powerhouse could kill him. But, this question really can't be done. I don't know about that. The words were justifiable, but Iruka laughed in anger. Go out and stand. Qian Yu walked out of the classroom under Shikamaru's envious gaze without any hesitation. He also wanted to be sent out and find a beautiful sleep under a big tree. On the playground, Qian Yu, just as Shikamaru thought, was lying under a dense tree and enjoying a leisurely time. It's impossible to take a stand or something. Iruka has a good temper and will definitely not pay too much attention to such trivial matters. Well, that's it. If not for Hinata, maybe Ino. Qian Yu wanted to graduate directly from the ninja school. The knowledge imparted here may be of some use to the average ninja, but he has gone beyond that. In the future, the perverts of the ninja world will gather together, should he be forced to use hardships without tying Susa. However, life is not only about fighting and killing, but also hugging and hugging. Cough, wrong, it is a beautiful love. Looking at the hanging sun, Qian Yu silently estimated the time. It was almost over, and he was going back to eat the lunch that Hinata and Ino had prepared for him. The two little girls are raising him like a pig. If it goes on like this, won't he cameo Qian Yu become a soft eater? Pat his butt and jumped up from the grass. Qian Yu raised his head if he felt something. His eyes crossed the barbed wire fence of the school and met the scarlet eyes on a tree. Uchiha Itachi. Qian Yu was a little surprised, but he hadn't seen each other for a long time. I don't know if Anbu is busy with tasks or because he is caught between the village and his family. Uchiha Itachi's tears deepened a lot. And he also found the existence of Qian Yu, frowned slightly, and then the body flicker technique disappeared. Qian Yu was a little baffled and didn't know what Itachi came here for. Only the next moment, his movements froze. Konoha 55 years. Uchiha Genocide Night. Thinking that there are more Anbu than usual in the village recently. Qian Yu is sure that the big event that will affect the future direction of the Hokage world is about to happen. But what does this have to do with him? Qian Yu laughed at himself, and then returned to the classroom as if nothing was wrong. On the other hand, Itachi came to third Hokage after taking one last look at Sasuke. Have you decided? Third generation was smoking a pipe with a complicated tone. Itachi's three Guyu turned wildly, and finally hooked together to form Mangekyo. Lord Third Generation, I've made a decision, and I'll start taking action tonight. Since the Uchiha clan is corrupt, it should be cut off by me, the Uchiha clan. And, I can also take the opportunity to spy on the mysterious person who calls himself Uchiha Madara. And my only request is for you to take care of my brother Sasuke. Not long ago, a mysterious man with a vortex mask approached Uchiha Itachi and invited him to join an organization. Itachi did not agree with this, but he did not completely reject it either. The masked man feels dangerous to him, and also has Sharingan. He had reason to suspect that the other party was the mastermind behind the Nine Tails Rebellion a few years ago. Itachi wants to get more information, so his attitude is vague. Third Generation exhaled a ring of smoke, hazy smoke covering his expression. He knew that Itachi was doing an exchange. Exchange the life of all Uchiha for the life of his younger brother. At the same time, it is also a threat. Since that's the case, after tonight, I will announce that you are an S-class traitor and issue a reward. As for your younger brother Sasuke, don't worry, as long as the old man is alive, no one can beat him. No name was called, but Itachi knew what Third Generation was referring to and was quietly relieved. You have a heart. After speaking, Itachi knelt down on one knee and disappeared. Third Generation's eyes were dim, and his eyes were turned towards the direction of the Uchiha clan. After today, the policy against the Uchiha family that started with second Hokage has come to an end. A big stone fell in his heart, but Third Generation did not dare to slack off. The information revealed by Itachi is astonishing. That masked man, and an organization called Akatsuki. Before that, the entire Konoha knew nothing about it. Moreover, they have launched 2 operations against Konoha, and no one knows what their real purpose is. Third generation hopes that Itachi can send some useful information as much as possible for Sasuke's sake. Ninja School. When Qian-Yu returned to the classroom, he saw Sasuke being surrounded by a group of girls led by little Sakura. Some inexplicable pity. Take advantage of the online enjoyment, who knows when you will bear the bloody feud of extermination. But Sasuke, who didn't say it, was somewhat enjoying himself, saw Qian-Yu's strange gaze. But he didn't have time to think about it, and immediately the group of girls rushed up again chatteringly. Afternoon. After 2 theoretical lessons, the ninja school should have ended. But Iruka walked in and announced that a throwing lesson would be added today. Many people are very excited about this. In the ninja school, the first-year freshmen are in the stage of laying the foundation, learning theoretical knowledge and refining chakra. There is no course in ninjutsu and ninja gear at all. Therefore, today is the first practical class for this class of students at the ninja school. It's just that smart people already feel a little abnormal. On the way to the playground, Shikamaru leaned over without looking. Qian-Yu, I think something is wrong. After a year, Shikamaru and Qian-Yu have gotten to know each other very well. Both have maturity beyond the age limit, as well as a lazy attitude to life. It doesn't even fit well. Shikamaru is keenly aware that although Qian-Yu usually has a laid-back and easy-going attitude, but he is the most hidden one. I also feel a little abnormal, but you still don't want to go into it. Qian-Yu gave Shikamaru a meaningful look. Such a deliberate delay, and the unusual behavior of Uchiha Itachi in the morning. All kinds of actions mean that something big will happen tonight. It's just that Shikamaru noticed that it was indeed something he didn't expect. Shikamaru was also startled when he heard this, and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead unconsciously. Sometimes the more you know, the quicker you die. Don't worry, Qian-Yu put his hand on his shoulder, just treat it as if nothing happens, and train hard. There seemed to be a strength in the words, which made Shikamaru relax a lot. In the middle of the night, Sasuke hurried to the Uchiha tribe. I don't know what's going on in the school, but they dragged the hall into the middle of the night. Made him miss dinner with his big brother. In today's class, he threw 110 and 2 8s in his shuriken, and was the first in the class. He wants to go home quickly, tell his big brother the good news, and by the way prove that he is stronger than Qian-Yu. At the same time, in the Uchiha tribe, countless corpses lay on the side, and the splashed bloodline reflected the moon, like a blood moon. With the help of the masked man, Uchiha Itachi slaughtered the entire family without much effort. The only ones left were Uchiha Fugaku and Makoto in the patriarch's house. How about it, do you need me to help you? A playful voice sounded from behind Itachi, and the masked man appeared with a twisted figure. Itachi stared at the masked man with sharp eyes and spoke coldly. No, I can just use them to prove my ability. The division of labor between the two is very clear. You help me kill the clan, and I allow you to take their Sharingan. And now, the masked man is really touching Itachi's bottom line. Taking a deep breath, Itachi wiped the sword stained with the blood of the Manchus and walked into the home that was once full of memories. There, his parents are still waiting for him. After school, Qian-Yu sent the 2 girls home separately before returning to his home. This has been a little tacit understanding between the 3, so Hinata and Ino didn't feel that there was anything wrong. Although in the original book, they did not have any accidents. But this is the real world, and any small change can cause irreversible changes. Under Qian-Yu's perception, almost every other street, there is an Anbu squad hiding. From his point of view, Uchiha's genocide was certainly a major blow to Konoha. But it also completely eliminates the instability factor. Uchiha is strong, but it is too extreme. The exception is Shisui and Itachi, whose eyes are above the top and arrogance are the norm. Just like those emperors in history who killed heroes, don't they know that heroes are powerful? They know, but this is a hidden danger for the rulers. If you have to find someone to take the blame for Uchiha's extermination, then the first choice is not Danzo, but Senju Tobirama. Precisely because of his constant targeting of Uchiha, various policies have also intensified contradictions. Only then did his disciples inherit the legacy and force this clan to perish. In fact, Qian felt that Senju Tobarama's original intention was not to destroy the Uchiha clan, but to win over and suppress. It's just third generation and Danzo, they didn't learn the essence of him. The next day, Qian didn't meet Sasuke at school, and Iruka just said that Sasuke was unwell and rested for a few days, without giving any details. And when Sasuke appeared, the news of the destruction of the Uchiha clan spread throughout the ninja world. From that moment on, Sasuke's temperament became cold and chilling. He is no longer the childish and innocent Urzu before, but an avenger. And these have little effect on Qian because his relationship with Sasuke is quite ordinary. If it weren't for the lack of opportunity, he would have beaten Urzuzi long ago. Instead, it was Naruto, who and Sasuke looked at each other badly from the time they entered school. Coupled with the reason of little Sakura, Naruto hates Sasuke even more. Every time he challenged Sasuke, he was beaten by little Sakura. Even though Sasuke is putting on a stinky face now, he's constantly harassing and enjoying it. Maybe that's a good thing for Sasuke. Qian, on the other hand, is living a life of his own leisurely. He has a good relationship with the Inoshika-cho trio, and he can chat with Ya unexpectedly. As for other ordinary students, there is no intersection. The two sides are not in the same circle, and it doesn't make sense now that they are familiar with each other. Maybe one day the other party will die in a mission. Just like that, 2 years have passed. Cameo Qian. In the classroom, Iruka roared angrily. What the hell are you trying to do? In this exam, your score is only higher than Naruto and Ya. Also, what exactly are you writing? Iruka waved the paper in his hand, spitting. The students sitting in the front row had a bad luck and complained about Iruka in their hearts. Even if you teach Qian a lesson, why should we suffer? Qian, who was whispering while holding Hinata's small hand, was speechless when he saw Iruka's excitement. Teacher, I think my answer is fine. Okay, I'll say it for everyone to judge. Iruka directly took out Qian paper and said, May I ask how chakra came about? Qian replied, It's handed down from Sage of Six Paths. The whole class laughed, and Iruka went crazy. That's a legend, do you believe in the legend? Of course I believe it. Since it is a legend, it must have his basis. Qian said as a matter of course. Then there is the creator of the ninja world on the moon, you believe it? Qian was startled and looked at Iruka in admiration. Great, this was all guessed by him. Iruka continued. The second question, I asked you to calculate the parabola of the shuriken, why did you directly draw a straight line? With this question, Qian became more confident. If I throw it like this, I will definitely hit the enemy. This time even Shikamaru couldn't help it and looked at him with admiration. Warriors, dare to write anything. Next, there are all kinds of strange questions, and Qian answer is even more surprising. How to sneak into the target area to complete the assassination, his answer is that killing everyone who has seen him is the perfect assassination. What if chakra is gone? His answer was impossible because he couldn't run out of chakra. In short, when a paper comes down, except for a few multiple choice questions, the others are basically all wrong. Iruka was also helpless. There is absolutely no problem with Qian's IQ, it's just this way of thinking. He didn't know how to solve it either. Thinking of what third generation once told him, let him be more tolerant towards Qian and Naruto. There is no way. Forget it, Qian. Next time you have to fill in the answers I gave in class. Iruka warned and didn't care. Today's time is precious, and too much energy cannot be wasted on Qian. It has been 3 years since you came to the ninja school. The school decided to conduct a simulated actual combat. Now we will all go to the playground. After saying that, Iruka went out first. And the students are also interested. After learning the ninja knowledge for so long, it is finally about to usher in the actual combat. When they arrived at the training ground, Qian warned Hinata, don't keep your hands for a while, if you get hurt, I'll be angry. He was confident about Hinata's strength, and no one in the class except Sasuke could beat her. But it is too soft-hearted, if the opponent confiscates it, it is easy to be injured. I see, Mr. Qian. 2 years have passed, and Hinata has grown a lot, and she looks more and more like the future. Even her hair has grown a lot. Just being so shy, and the reason for having long hair is also because of Qian. He really liked the way Hinata's long hair fluttered in the theatrical version. Iruka took out the roster in his hand and arranged for today's battle. Akamichi Choji vs. Yamanaka Ino. As soon as I came up, I clicked on Ino's name. Choji stepped onto the ring reluctantly, forming a strong contrast to the excited Ino. The two casually attacked each other for a few moves, and Choji raised his hand to admit defeat. Iruka raised his forehead and waved the two of them off the stage, looking at Qianyu a little amused. In fact, Ino can't beat Choji. It's just that the little fat man is too kind, he doesn't want to shoot at his companions, he is afraid of hurting others. Among the 12 little strong, Qianyu also appreciates Choji very much, and this is a friend worthy of deep friendship. What's more, he has been salivating over the Akamaiki family's secret arts. Don't need a full set, just use a portion of the expansion jutsu. The second group, Hyuga Hinata and Haruno Sakura. Qianyu came to the spirit and shouted to Hinata, "Hinata, I want to see your progress, you must come up and do your best." He said so, and Hinata nodded vigorously. Since Qianyu hopes to see her progress, she will not disappoint. Sure enough, Hinata, who entered the ring, changed his past weakness and took the lead in launching the attack. Little Sakura is just a ninja with no blood, no talent, and no cheating. The superficial taijutsu taught by the ninja school cannot be compared with the secret physique of the Hyuga family. In just 2 strokes, Hinata knocked little Sakura out of the ring, so angry that she almost cried. It's a shame in front of Sasuke this time. Nice job, Hinata. Qianyu gave a thumbs up, not stingy with his praise. Hinata also smiled lightly and said nothing. This level of intimacy is no longer enough to make her shy. On the other hand, Shikamaru was a little puzzled. Qianyu, why do you always feel that little Sakura is not pleasing to the eye? It seems that since the beginning of the school year, they have never heard of any intersection between the two, so why did Qianyu encourage Hinata so much? Qianyu replied lazily, "You're not wrong, I really don't like her. If there is nothing, Sass will give it, and if there is anything, there is no way to ask for it. All the plots go down, except for yelling and making trouble for others, there is no positive effect at all." At the end, Kishimoto forcibly added a scene to her, which also made Qianyu look very unpleasant. With her half-baked Baihao technique, can she still cause damage to Kagaya? Dogs don't believe it. Shikamaru shrugged when Qianyu said it so straightforwardly. Hate it if you hate it, he is not familiar with little Sakura anyway. Because of Qianyu, Ino didn't like Sasuke, and he didn't have much interaction with little Sakura. The jokes in childhood have long been forgotten, but I just remember this person. The test continues. The fights between children are nothing to watch, and there is not even a single ninjutsu. They are all fighting with physical skills. After Naruto lost to Iruka finally pronounced Qianyu's name. Cameo Qianyu and Uchiha Sasuke. In an instant, Sasuke's eyes lit up, and 2 ups and downs came to the ring. Provocative words followed. Cameo Qianyu, come up and fight. I'm going to use you to prove that the man's vision was a mistake. Although it has been several years, Sasuke still remembers what Itachi once said. Since it is impossible to defeat Itachi now, then first defeat Qianyu, who he recognized, to prove that he is completely different. Qianyu shrugged and walked slowly to the ring. At Iruka's request, the two first formed a seal of opposition. Beating children or something, he likes it the most. Come on, Qianyu. Kill the stinky fart, Sasuke. Naruto cheered Qianyu loudly, even more excited than the client. Shut up, Horyu. Sass, come on. Little Sakura was so angry that he lost the game, just to take Naruto out, and then cheered for Sasuke with a licking face. His face changed so quickly that he was stunned. Shut up, you are so noisy. Sasuke frowned at first, scolded little Sakura in displeasure, and then looked at Qianyu, who was holding Kabuto with both hands. You shoot first. If I attack first, you won't be able to take a single move. The arrogance of the words ushered in the screams of little girls. What? Qianyu won't lose to him. Ino complained to Hinata in dissatisfaction, but she knew that Qianyu's strength was definitely not as ordinary as he usually showed. Hinata also firmly agrees. How could Qianyu, such a hardworking and talented person, lose to a ninja student? Not even if he was the only survivor of Uchiha. She has white eyes, but she knows Qianyu's horror better than Ino. In the ring, Qianyu had a toothache looking at Sasuke pretend. Do these Uchiha people have to install a wave before they start a fight, to mentally pollute their opponents? Those with strength are called pretend, and those like Sasuke are pure cerebral palsy. The sky was clear, the rain stopped, and Urzuzi felt that he could do it again. In the original book, every time Sasuke gains strength, he must be educated. The country of water opened a single eye and double hook jade, and came back to be educated by Xiao Li. Learned Reikiri, and was taught by Gaara's show crane form. Later, even after opening Mangekyo, he had to be bullied by Killer Bee, and then beaten by the Five Shadows in turn. Qianyu has to inherit such a good tradition. As soon as the right hand was lifted, the 3 shuriken were thrown out. Sasuke sneered, throwing such a weak shuriken. Itachi, is this the person you were optimistic about? Just laughed out loud. Pulling out the kunai, Sasuke easily blocked the shuriken and rushed towards Qianyu, who was standing dumbfounded. He suddenly had no interest in consuming it, and wanted a quick solution. This level is not worthy of his opponent. Holding kunai with his right hand, Sasuke stabbed straight out. With his speed, Qianyu couldn't react to this blow at all. Just when he thought the victory was in his hands, Qianyu sideways passed Kuei and grabbed his wrist precisely. Raising his knees, he slammed into Sasuke's chest. Sasuke, who was using too much force, couldn't control his body at all, so he could only twist forcibly, staggering the key points. Wow! Sasuke was directly knocked out, his breathing stopped for a moment, and he fell to the ground in embarrassment. Urzuzi, you can't do this either, the speed is too slow. Qianyu returned to his original standing position and looked at Sasuke mockingly. Hateful. Sasuke rushed up again, this time he was much more cautious. And Qianyu also played well with Sasuke, and the 2 fists crossed and made a thumping sound. Sasuke, after all, has Uchiha's family physique, and a burst of onslaught looks gorgeous. The students in the audience were amazed. These 2 people are too powerful, and compared with them, it is like playing a house. Come on, Qianyu. Go Sasuke. The girls in the class were divided into 2 factions, cheering for the male gods they supported. Shikamaru's scalp was numb, these girls are horrible. The scene seemed to be evenly matched, and even Sasuke was on the offensive side. But only Sasuke on stage knew how uncomfortable he was. No matter what moves he uses, he will be precisely blocked. His physical quality and reaction speed are completely different from Qianyu's. Flying away from Sasuke's whip, Qianyu kicked Sasuke away again. This time, he didn't rush up again. Physical skills alone are no match for Qianyu. If that's the case, let's use this move to decide the winner. Sasuke's eyes narrowed, his hands pinched. Not good. Iruka was Chunin after all, and it was obvious at a glance that Sasuke was going to use fire style. This goes well beyond the realm of students. He has already raised his full attention, ready to rescue Qianyu at any time. Fire style great fireball technique. A fiery fireball spewed out of Sasuke's mouth, rapidly expanding to the size of a man. The students onlookers also exclaimed, this was the first time ninjutsu appeared today. Qianyu is also sealed. Wind style gale palm. A hurricane flew out of his hand, directly blowing the fireball away, and then hit Sasuke, who was stunned, unabated. The strong wind directly knocked Sasuke flying, and Qianyu's figure appeared on Sasuke's body, pointing at his throat with kunai. The battle is over, the winner, Kamio Qianyu. The seal of reconciliation. Iruka hurriedly announced the results of the competition. To be honest, he was a little surprised that Qianyu was so strong. And Sasuke was dumbfounded until he formed the seal of reconciliation with Qianyu. Did he lose like that? After the genocide, Sasuke never wanted to kill the man, and he trained hard every day. However, he couldn't even beat a small Qianyu. For a moment, Sasuke fell into deep self-doubt. Urzuzi, let me help you heal. Qianyu stretched out his hand with a smile, and involuntarily pressed it on Sasuke's wound from the strong wind. After waiting for so long, I finally got the chance to cut wool. Kamio Qianyu, I will definitely beat you. Although Sasuke loves to pretend, but his competitive spirit is still indomitable. After recovering, he immediately downloaded the gauntlet. No problem, you are welcome to challenge at any time. After getting the system's prompt tone, Qian Yu was a little dissatisfied. Just some points and base stats, what about Indra Chakra? After the two returned to the team, the remaining few matches were somewhat dull. After seeing the gorgeous ninjutsu duel, the student's vision has improved a lot. Uruka also announced the end of the actual combat class after the last set of Shikamaru versus Qian Yu was without a doubt the number one. On the way back to the classroom, the students were still discussing the ninjutsu used by Sasuke and Qian Yu. It's not unusual for Uchiha to know ninjutsu. And Qian Yu has been unremarkable in school for the past 2 years, and is famous because of his handsome appearance and Ino Hinata's favor. I didn't expect it to be so strong. On the other hand, Third Hokage also has a panoramic view of this battle. It seems that the ninja school is less and less helpful to Qian Yu. Regarding his strength, third generation has also seen his training several times, and it is quite clear. Of course, this is only the part that was deliberately exposed. Qian Yu's habit has always been to hide. Not to pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger, but an enemy that every ninja world traveler must face. Shimura Danzo. This old thing is disgusting beyond imagination, and has the protection of the third generation. Qian Yu didn't plan to confront him until he had no idea of betraying the village. Because of this, Qian Yu has always shown only his own ninjutsu to the third generation, and the boundaries of blood and blood have been deeply hidden. This will neither lose the favor of third generation, but also reduce some of Danzo's coveted. However, this feeling of swallowing one's breath is really not good. When Qian Yu was going to become 5th Hokage in Tsunade, he found a reason to run Danzo, so that he could have a good idea. Ahem, the topic is a bit far off, let's talk about third generation. In his opinion, Qian Yu can directly become a ninja without going to ninja school. However, the role of the ninja school is not only teaching but this task, and establishing bonds with classmates is also an important part of it. Only when they understand the importance of their companions, will they do their best to protect each other during missions. This is also the concept of Konoha's establishment and the foundation of its foothold. What's more, Konoha is not short of ninjas now, there is no need to let a child of a few years old come out to work hard. But having said that, it cannot delay the progress of strength. There has been no news from Tsunade, and third generation is planning to find a temporary teacher for Qian Yu. Not long after, there was a knock on the door. Come in. A white-haired man with a spiky head walked in, with a mask covering his face. It was Hitaki Kakashi. Kakashi, I heard that the genin team I asked you to lead was judged unqualified by you and was sent back to the ninja school again. Earlier this year, third generation scooped Kakashi out of Anbu. He also has great expectations for the disciple of this disciple. I really don't know what to call it. If you are in Anbu all the time, you can only see the darkness of the world, and it is not good for your inner health. To this, Kakashi did not refute, they are not ready to become ninjas. Clearly, the group failed his bell grab test. Seeing this, third generation also sighed slightly, he understood why Kakashi became like this. I have a personal request from my side for you. Please speak. Third generation handed over Qian Yu's information to Kakashi, and explained. Kamio Qian Yu is a little guy I'm very optimistic about. His talent is very powerful, and he has awakened the medical bloodline limit. The purpose of calling you this time is also for him. I hope you can teach him some ninjutsu. Do you want him to graduate early? Kakashi saw Qian Yu's face and his mind moved slightly. He recognized this young man, and on October 10th every year, he would always see each other's figure beside the memorial tablet. So much has been so. Was it Kamio Qian Yu? Third generation shook his head. No, this little guy is so talented, the ninja school's courses are of no use to him. You are Konoha's #1 technician, and you don't have any tasks recently, just give him some ninjutsu. After thinking for a moment, Kakashi agreed to third generation's request. He is still a little unsuited to life in the sun, and it is not bad to follow the arrangement to see this young man. Don't worry, after I test his attributes, I will teach him the appropriate ninjutsu. Third generation smiled happily. Kakashi, don't underestimate Qian Yu, his genius is definitely not inferior to yours. Also, His father is Kamio and Feng, my former guard, some low-level ninjutsu can't satisfy him. Kakashi knew that he had heard the names of Kamio and Feng, but he didn't get in touch with Qian Yu for a while. I see what you mean. After the two negotiated, Kakashi left. And third generation opened the crystal ball again and skillfully placed its perspective on an open-air hot spring. I wonder if Mrs. Inoue is here today. In the empty room, there was a wretched laugh. Qian Yu, you are so handsome today, Uchiha Sasuke is no match for you at all. On the way home, Ino was like an oriole, happily surrounding Qian Yu. What a feat to beat a mid-sophomore Sasuke. Qian Yu shrugged indifferently. Ino, although Sasuke is weak, you are still not his opponent. I know your family ninjutsu is very powerful, but its shortcomings are also obvious. Think about it, what would you do if Shikamaru and Choji weren't with you? Ino replied with a smile, isn't there still you? Qian Yu is the best. Xiaonizi is not very old, how can she be so provocative? She is really good at it, Qian Yu said, and she can't stand it anymore. I can't stay by your side all the time. When the time comes, it must be your Ino Shika-cho group. At that time, you will need some other means. After listening to Qian Yu's advice, Ino fell into deep thought. She seems to be incapable of other ninjutsu except to learn family secrets and three-body technique. Even physique is so-so. After thinking about it for a long time, Ino nodded seriously. I see, I will ask my dad to give me special training when I get home. Hinata smiled at this scene. She didn't mind the addition of Ino at all. She knew that in Qian Yu's heart, her position was the most unique. That's enough. After sending Hinata home, Qian Yu also prepares to go home. An Anbu suddenly appeared in front of him. Kamio Qian Yu, Lord Third Generation has an order, please come to the training ground number 1 on Saturday afternoon. I see. There were doubts in his heart, but Qian Yu replied anyway. Seeing his promise, Anbu left in an instant, without any hesitation. Qian Yu didn't care about this cold attitude. These Anbus are just like that, they don't talk nonsense at all when they go on a mission. Instead, he was a little curious about third generation's arrangements. Is this to teach him ninjutsu? If so, that would be great. Over the past few years, Shadow Clone has been diligently picking wool for him. But Konoha's powerhouses are only those few. Although the other ninjas have good strength, the master's ninjutsu is all good. Until now, Qian Yu has not obtained a ninjutsu that can be finalized. It can be exchanged through the system, which is a bit wasteful. If I hadn't explained the source, I would have wanted to teach myself Rasengan. In the comics of the previous life, Jiraiya clearly explained the principles of Rasengan and the way of practice. With his chakra mastery, it can be learned quickly. Stinky boy, get me out. The shouts and familiar shouts from the distance instantly attracted his attention. Konoha village is huge. It is just a village in name, but it is actually the second largest city in the Land of Fire after the capital. After all, ninja is a high-risk, high-reward career. Each of the high-level ninjas is rich. Therefore, Konoha's business is also very developed. Whether it's serious, or not serious. Although the ninja has 3 taboos, alcohols are nothing. Ninjas are a group of guys who lick blood on the tip of their knives. It is normal to be drunk at the moment. This also caused some industries in Konoha to be very developed, second only to the first gold-selling cave in the country of fire, Short Book Street. Not far from Hyuga's house, Qian Yu's only way home. There is a very mysterious street, which is basically not open during the day, but it is colorful at night. Qian Yu often laments that the world is getting worse. A world where you can become a ninja at the age of 5 or 6 and go into battle to kill enemies. Do you still need to be an adult to go to that kind of place? But today, he actually saw a figure that should never be here. Let go of me, let go of me. Naruto was supported by 2 big men, his legs kicking in the air. Little devil, this is not where you can come now. Now you should go and play your ninja game. When they came to the door, the 2 strong men threw Naruto and said mockingly, I will definitely come again. Naruto was unwilling, but no one was listening to him anymore. Naruto, why are you here? A faint voice sounded from behind him, very scary. Qian Yu. Naruto turned his head and found Qian Yu was looking at him strangely, very surprised. Why are you here? Should I ask you this? Qian Yu looked at him. It's really unbelievable. Naruto, who looks like a big brow and big eyes, is so precocious. What do you mean? Naruto scratched his head, not understanding what Qian Yu meant. I came here to perfect ninjutsu. Ninjutsu. Qian Yu was even more confused. What kind of ninjutsu needs to come to the red light district? Yeah, Naruto explained patiently, I've found that many uncles have nosebleeds when facing ant with little clothes. If I incorporate this into the transformation technique, I can beat Sasuke. Speaking of Sasuke, his whole body was on fire. And Qian Yu is also happy. It turns out that seduction technique came like this. It's no wonder that Naruto's seduction technique has become very girly, and the two golden double ponytails have stabbed many people's XP. Emotions have such an experience. You still come to draw materials for your feelings. Yes, that's the material. Naruto nodded again and again, smiling naively, completely ignorant of the meaning of the material here. Since they met, Qian Yu invited him home for dinner. Although in the school because of Qian Yu's relationship, Naruto gained a few friends. But in the village, there are a lot of people who think he is a demon fox. Many stores won't sell Naruto stuff. Qian Yu often invites Naruto to come to his house for dinner and give him some nutrition. As for the fact that he was drinking expired milk in the anime, Qian Yu felt that Naruto was a fool and didn't know that the milk would expire. School life goes on. Unlike before, after losing to Qian Yu once, Sasuke completely focused on Qian Yu. In this week, I challenged 3 times in a row. And the results are no suspense, all ended in failure. Qian Yu has also mastered his strength, and won't come up to directly crush it, that will only destroy Sasuke's fighting spirit. Conversely, if you win by a narrow margin every time, then Sasuke would keep challenging him, and Qian Yu would keep licking the wool. After obtaining the system for so long, he also discovered a pattern. That is, as the children of luck, Naruto and Sasuke provide considerable points even if their strength is low. Even if he didn't get Indra Chakra, he didn't lose. And Sasuke was not tired of it, because Qian Yu gave him the illusion that he could defeat Qian Yu soon. And just like that, it's Saturday. Qian Yu also followed third generation's instructions and came to the training ground number 1 dressed neatly. It was just that there was no one there when he came. After waiting for 2 full hours, Qian Yu became impatient, and Kakashi appeared. Holding a book in his hand, he was so fascinated by it that he didn't even look up when he spoke. Well, it looks like I'm late again. Seeing that the person was Kakashi, Qian Yu was also a little surprised, but went up to say hello anyway. Kakashi-senpai, you know me. I still know Konoha's first technician, Copy Ninja Kakashi. Kakashi didn't think much about it and went straight to the topic. I was commissioned by Lord Third Generation to teach you some ninjutsu. You can tell me if you have any needs. Only then did Qian Yu know that it wasn't the third generation who taught him ninjutsu, but Kakashi. To be honest, it's kind of disgusting. Although Kakashi is known as the master of thousands of ninjutsu, Qian Yu can see it. There is only Reikiri. I prefer to learn some powerful ninjutsu that can kill with one hit. Also, Kakashi-senpai, what book are you holding in your hand? It looks very nice. Qian Yu asked this question pretending to be ignorant, causing Kakashi to put away the book in embarrassment. It's just a little story about ninjas, it's quite boring. Qian Yu pouted. He naturally knew that it was intimacy heaven. He also has a lot of interest in this famous book, Liu Bei, the first in the ninja world. It's just that I'm still not an adult, and the bookstore won't sell it to Qian Yu. Okay, since you want to learn lightning-style ninjutsu, let me know your strength first. Suspected of changing the subject, Kakashi said seriously with a straight face. Qian Yu didn't refuse either. He also really wanted to have a fight with Kakashi and feel the fight between a genin. The two opened up, and the battle was about to break out. On the training ground, Kakashi once again took out his Liu Bei. Using all your strength to attack me, I will decide the ninjutsu you teach based on your performance. In the words, there is a faint air of pretending to escape. Qian Yu was silent, not knowing what to say for a while. Is Sharingan's shared pupil technique just pretending to escape? However, since Kakashi is so confident, he still takes care of Naruto as he did in the original book. Then don't blame him for being rude. Clap both hands. Shadow clone technique. 2 shadow clones emerged from the smoke and ran towards Kakashi with Qian Yu's body. While running, he is also quickly forming a seal, and soon, ninjutsu takes shape. Fire Dragon Fire technique. Wind style Great Breakthrough. Earth style, Wankwanuma technique. The coordination between the 3 types of ninjutsu is very delicate. A swamp appeared under Kakashi's feet to limit his mobility. The fire borrowed the wind, and the scorching fire dragon increased its speed by another level under the blessing of the strong wind, and its size became much larger. In an instant, the mixed offensive of the 3-line ninjutsu was formed. Since it is a ninja, the battle must be gorgeous. Qian Yu didn't want to be like Naruto in the future, with Shadow Clone in his left hand and ball rolling in his right. Therefore, from now on, he has consciously cultivated his fighting style. Although Kakashi let him go with all his strength, Qian Yu definitely wouldn't do it. What he showed was only the 4th and 5th level of ninjutsu. But even so, Kakashi was surprised enough. You must know that now Qian Yu is only a 4th-year student of the ninja school, and ordinary chunins do not have such strength. After thinking about it for a while, Kakashi felt that if he was the same age, he was no match for Qian Yu. No wonder 3rd generation valued this kid so much, and did not hesitate to invite him. But it's too naive to want to beat him like this. As his mind turned, the intimacy paradise, which had not seen a few lines, was once again put away by him. The hands quickly formed a seal, and then slapped the swamp fiercely. Earth-style Earth Flow Wall. An earthen wall carved with a dog's head rose from the ground and lay in front of him. The fire dragon devoured the earth wall frantically, and even a piece of the dog's head was not off. But this has bought Kakashi enough time. When the wall was destroyed, his figure had disappeared into the swamp. Qian Yu asked the 2 shadow clones to come to his side, leaning against each other to keep an eye on the surroundings. Ended. Kakashi's voice suddenly came from the ground, and an arm suddenly got out, grabbed Qian Yu in the middle and sank. But halfway through the action, Kakashi's pupils shrank and he let go. Bang! A huge explosion came. The detonators attached to several shadow clones' bodies exploded at the same time, and the power was not inferior to the fire-style ninjutsu released by Jonin. This is the ninjutsu he created by borrowing Itachi's clone, Big Blast. Kakashi burrowed out of the ground with a gray face, and his refreshing hairstyle was also covered with dust. A real refugee. This time, he was careless and didn't pay attention to Qian Yu's strength, so he was fooled so easily. Water-style Broken Rush. Qian Yu's voice came again. Kakashi's brows jumped wildly, and his legs jumped out of the soil. It's just a step slower. The turbulent water jetted out of the hole, and his lower body was already wet. It looks like diapers. Little devil, you did a good job. Although it was a compliment, Kakashi's dead fish eyes were full of resentment, and this kid was obviously playing tricks on him. No, it's better for you to cooperate. Qian Yu stood on a big tree and smiled happily. This kid. The corners of his mouth twitched, and a kunai appeared in his hand. Kakashi doesn't want to test Qian Yu's ninjutsu anymore, he just wants to rush up and educate this stinky boy. And Qian Yu is also not afraid of the newcomer, directly facing the enemy. For a long time, Qian Yu lacked real combat experience, and had a strong physical fitness, but could not use it rationally. Hinata had tried to give him the Hyuga fluid technique, but was refused. Qian Yu is walking with a fist of steel, and Hyuga's body technique is gentle fist, which is not suitable. Although Kakashi looks weak, his physical skills are definitely not weak. Guy who opened the first few doors can only be on par with him. In this way, the two of you started a hand-to-hand fight with 1 punch and 1 kick. Although Kakashi was annoyed, he knew what to do. It didn't use full force at first. So Qian Yu was able to cope with it reluctantly, but the scene was a little ugly. Pick, tease, dial, block, frame, sweep. Gradually, Kakashi found that the kid was growing at an astonishing rate, and his movements became more and more natural. The right leg swept across, Qian Yu blocked with his arm, and the sudden afterburner made him take a few steps back. Kakashi pulled away. Okay, you're already qualified. After exiting the battle state, he returned to his usual dead fish eyes and said lazily, "This is the end." Qian Yu was still a little unfulfilled, he had already tasted the sweetness. After playing for a while, his physical skills will definitely be greatly improved. Kakashi rolled his eyes. The boy didn't know where he got so much strength, and now his arms are still aching. What a monster. What kind of ninjutsu do you want to learn? Seeing Kakashi ask this, Qian Yu is no longer struggling with the question of physique. I want to learn lightning style ninjutsu. Not fire style and wind style. Kakashi was surprised. He thought Qian Yu was good at ninjutsu with these two attributes. I'm an all-attribute chakra, but I'm best at lightning style. It's just that my lightning style ninjutsu level is very low. Although, the level of ninjutsu is divided according to the difficulty of learning, and does not represent the power. But generally speaking, these offensive ninjutsu are generally proportional to the difficulty and power. After Qian Yu finished speaking, Kakashi fell silent again. Full stats chakra is not unusual, so is he, which is nothing to be proud of. However, Qian Yu's chakra is so huge that once it grows up, it will be a third Hokage-like existence. However, this kid is about to learn lightning style. Do you know his information? After thinking for a while, Kakashi decided to teach Qian Yu his signature ninjutsu. First, because of third Hokage's entrustment, he couldn't perfunctory. The second is that Qian Yu's own aptitude is excellent enough to impress him. It seems like a good feeling to have such a disciple. But before that, he still had to make sure of a few things. Kakashi spoke up. How is your dynamic vision? I have a lightning style ninjutsu, which requires extremely high physical fitness and vision to perform. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.